Wire to Wire
with Diesel and Cole Bryson
on the Fan Upstate.
It was the gym and people matter. It was so outside. It was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh.
I had bounced away at halftime, Cole. Clemson were up big, coming off a massive 21-0 run to finish the first half against BYU, and I'm thinking, wow, this Clemson team's pretty good. They got a top 10 team beat in the mecca of college basketball. Only to tune back in about 30 minutes later to see that Clemson had Amber Hearded a golden opportunity. And by the way, that means crap to the bed. To show that they as a team were ready to become a big boy, to join the rankings, because they would have been if they had won that basketball game. Welcome into Wire to Wire. I'm Diesel. He is Cole Bryson. Alas, though, Cole, with 1.3 seconds on the clock, BYU's Robert Wright III did this.
The screen comes right in the middle of the floor. And the low man Boskovic to inbound. Right. Got it!
You've said, at least 3 times in the past 10 days that basketball is a game of streaks. And oh boy, did we see streaks left on the court last night. And by that, I mean skid marks.
Yeah.
Because they crapped the bed.
You know, you texted me, and I was at the Burns game last night, the basketball game, and was following along. And my gosh, so you're thinking at halftime, wait a minute, you're up 43-22. Yeah. These guys are in pretty good shape here. But the problem is in the second half, Clemson was outscored 45-21. And you know, I don't know if there's enough made of this, but especially in the sport of basketball, maybe it's just because Diesel I can't comprehend a lot of things, but I think of things simple. I simplify things. I really do. I have a very simplistic mind, and I look at this and say, my gosh, is there any other sport that's as tricky as basketball from the standpoint? What am I talking about? From the standpoint of this, halftime means something. Like whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it helps you, whether it hurts you, stoppage in play means something. And my simplistic mind, Diesel, tells me I've seen enough basketball that I can tell you, my goodness, sometimes halftime just doesn't really truly tell the story. And you see teams like BYU last night flip the switch, go on a 45-21 second half performance. And if you would have just looked at the second half of play, you thought that game wasn't close last night. So inconsistent, you said it, game of runs, kind of streaky night for Clemson last night. Tough loss.
And this is not the first time this season that Clemson has gone on a long, sustained scoring drought. It happened in the first half against Alabama, just one game prior. They've lost 2 in a row to number 12 Alabama and number 10 BYU. Both of those games, Clemson had long, sustained droughts without scoring. In the first half, Clemson trailed by 19 against Alabama. They went a 14-3 run to come back in the second half. Against BYU, Clemson scores 21 straight points to end the first half. They go into the break up 43-22, and then they gave up BYU's the largest second half comeback in school history.
Yeah.
That's not one of those stats that you want to be a part of, that you gave up the biggest comeback in the second half this program has ever seen. That is a pathetic stat, Cole.
You know, I did not listen to the full post-game interview with Brad Brownell, but I do want to know, watching a little bit of that game this morning, Diesel, what is RJ Godfrey doing coming off the bench? And maybe my mind just isn't great enough. Maybe I can't comprehend why RJ Godfrey's not a starter for this Clemson basketball team. I just want to know from somebody that's more intelligent than me. At 844-326-3663, maybe you're a basketball guru. I'm not, but I will tell you this. RJ Godfrey's one of your better players. Why is he coming off the bench? Why is RJ Godfrey only getting the minutes that he's getting? I know he still gets a lot of minutes off the bench. 24 minutes last night, 13 points. He's efficient. He puts up points. He's reliable. He was 5 of 7 from the field last night. So, yeah, it's a tough night. Yeah, you don't want to have a 21-0 run
to
end the second half. And the first half, and it was a tie game or close to tied, and they went on that run, and you're sitting at halftime thinking 43-22, man, this Clemson team, they've responded well after that tough loss to Alabama. But I don't know. They didn't get the most from guys like Nick Davidson, Jake Wallen, 1 point from him last night, Carter Welling, 9 points. Yeah. I don't think they're getting the most, even from Dylan Hunter last night, only 7 points from him.
You are unlikely to find success when you have one starter in double figures scoring. That's it. It was just Justin Porter had 17 points in the game, 5 for 12 overall. Yeah, RJ Godfrey came off the bench with 13 points. Yeah, Butta Johnson came off the bench with 10 points. But if you can't get scoring from more than 3 guys and you're rolling 10 deep, you're going to have a hard time winning basketball games. It's just simply as easy as that. And hey, it takes BYU having an epic collapse first half. Let's not pretend like Clemson was playing just insane defense in the first half. It was a tale of 2 very different halves for these teams. BYU couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat in the first half, and they couldn't miss in the second, and it was vice versa, split the other way for Clemson. I mean, they had an opportunity there, Cole. I mean, if you went back and watched that final possession from BYU, that final sequence where they got the ball up the court, I think they inbounded it with something like 5 or 6 seconds left on the clock, but they wasted a lot of time getting up the court. The ball carrier got almost to the 3-point line before they called timeout so they could get it in from half court. And then with 1.3 seconds left on the clock, Clemson basically leaves Robert Wright III kind of open to catch the ball. 2 dribbles, a little bit of a contested shot, but that's one of those, like, you just feel like it's going in because of course it is. You don't get to have a terrible second half like that and force overtime.
Well, I think there was, watching what I watched this morning, going back and looking at the game, Diesel, I think there was a difference of physicality and execution in the first half and in the second half. You mentioned defense. I think there can be a little bit of truth on both sides. I think Clemson was more relentless. I think they were better defensively in the first half. They just didn't have that same edge, that same physicality in the second half. It was a lot of Jekyll and Hyde. And when you look at that breakdown from the first half to the second half, okay, well, Clemson shot just 25.9% from the field after halftime. They also committed 8 turnovers in the second half. So basketball is, I do this contributes to you doing this, right? That is the name of the game. And last night, we talk about what they were able to do in the first half. Well, guess what? When you come out in the second half, Diesel, it doesn't matter what kind of lead you have. If you're leading, if you're trailing, the game's tied. If you shoot under 30% from the field and you commit 8 turnovers, guess what? You're going to give a team like BYU an opportunity to roar back. Justin Porter was good last night, but BYU was better, and they were clutch. That Robert Wright, the 3rd 3-pointer, that was cold-blooded, man. Like, that was a big-time shot. So Clemson's still a okay team, Diesel. They're not time to hit the panic button, but it is a rough loss, blowing a 21-point lead. I think it raises questions about the consistency, the focus, the closing ability, right? Because you've seen opportunities this year already in this young season that we've had where Clemson has fallen behind by double digits against Georgetown, against West Virginia, and just last week, we talked about it a second ago, almost managed to dig out of a 19-point hole. Right? You and I were talking about that game against number 12, Alabama, before, they had that big comeback. They fell short at the end. And then last night, a neutral site game in New York City had an opportunity to do the same thing. Just you look at the inconsistencies, and there are some worries there. The second half collapse is something that I'm sure Brad Brownell is going to have to really do some homework, get back to the drawing boards, because you go from Diesel 45% from the field, 35% from 3-point range. The Tigers, like I said, just shot 25% in the second half. 2 scoring droughts. This is key right here. We mentioned the game of runs that basketball is. You can't have these scoring droughts. Last night, Clemson endured scoring droughts of 4+ minutes, Diesel. I talked about the 8 turnovers. That's one thing. But when you have scoring droughts of 4+ minutes, BYU is able to cut the lead to single digits, right? A bizarre delay. The Madison Square Garden official had to stop the game, right?
Yeah, the basket,
what level?
The goal got out of level. It was a hard dunk from a BYU player, and it literally broke the basket. And I'm just thinking, in that situation, don't they have a spare, like, in a storage closet in the back? Like, why are we doing this? Why?
Yeah.
Just Just wheel the new one out, put it in place, check to make sure it's level, and then resume play. But no, they're out there. They're checking to make sure the rim is level and it's level with the basket. But then the basket's not level with the floor. So you can't play, and then 20 minutes goes by. That might have been the thing that helped Clemson kind of regroup after that ass whooping they took for the first couple minutes of the second half.
And you know what? Going back to like my very opening point about, my simplistic mind being so simple just to say, okay, well, sometimes halftime's the best thing for you. Sometimes halftime's the worst thing for you. Last night, Diesel, the halftime couldn't have been the worst thing for Clemson. I mean, it was the worst thing for Clemson. They were rolling, and offensively, what they were able to do, just imagine, if halftime's not there, they're able to go on and maybe blow BYU out. But what does the game of basketball show us? That stoppage of play and droughts and turnovers, every little small minute thing is so important in the game of basketball. And I just don't think, even though they went on that 21-0 run, they weren't efficient as they needed to be last night. RJ Godfrey was the only Tiger in double figures with 13 points. I mentioned them shooting 36% from the field on the evening, 31% from beyond the arc. That was the total number. But BYU they just shot better than you did. Their players played better, just about every facet of the game. My gosh, the kid's name that I can't pronounce was fantastic. Debansa, how do you say it? He was awesome. 28 points, 9 of 17 Diesel from the floor, 9 of 10 from the charity stripe. He also pulled down 9 rebounds, 6 assists on the evening. And you look at the halftime break. That guy went off. Clemson managed to – listen to this. After the first half, Clemson only managed to out-rebound BYU on the evening by a margin of 2. That's 38-36. So Clemson turned the ball over 12 times, 8 in the second half to BYU's 9. So that's a big problem. And Clemson's going to have a few opportunities to get things right with Mercer and South Carolina on Tuesday. But you look back at some of these games.
Did you just call South Carolina a get-right game for Clemson?
No. I'm just saying you're going to have an opportunity. No. You're going to have an opportunity to turn the season around. Yeah. You're going to have an opportunity to kind of get things back on track because, Mercer's a get-right game. But I don't know that South Carolina's a gimme right now. They're not great.
Not the way this team is playing.
Right. You just don't know.
Percy on the streams on the text line says, takes time to gel with a bunch of transfers, but that should have been a Clemson win. Yeah. Percy, they've had 10 games. They've had 10 games at this point. They've played multiple tough opponents. They've been in this situation multiple times this season. That's not gel. That's an inability to adjust.
Well, I think to his point, I think I would agree with him and say it does take time in basketball.
Everybody's got transfers, though. We don't get to use that excuse anymore. Everybody's got transfers. Maybe not BYU. I don't know their situation, being the religious school that they are. But everybody's got transfers. Duke's winning with transfers. North Carolina's winning with transfers. The best teams in America are winning with transfers.
They are. But I'm telling you, it's not the same players on Clemson's roster that you're talking about with Duke. Well, you're comparing apples to oranges.
That is fair. So this Clemson team, kind of sits where we expect them to be. Not a lot of data on these teams yet at this point. Most teams are 8, 9, 10, 11 games into the season, but Clemson right now sits at number 25 in the KenPom ratings. That means they are statistically the 24th best team in America. But when you keep losing games like this, especially back-to-back against big-time opponents, when you have opportunities to look good, the committee or the AP voters, they're not going to put you in the top 25 unless you go on a run and absolutely prove it. They, in the KenPom ratings, sits somewhere in the range. I think it's like 4th or 5th in the ACC, which is kind of where we expect this program to be. They are beating the teams that they are better than, Georgetown and Georgia and West Virginia, but they cannot find ways to get across the hump or have any kind of consistency, because you go back and you look at just the box scores of the last 2 games. They have completely lopsided scoring and opponents scoring in those 2 games. They give up big quarters and they have big quarters. They give up almost no points in some quarters, and they score almost no points in some quarters. This team is all over the place, but the good thing about the way the NCAA tournament is built, the out-of-conference ultimately doesn't matter all that much. Yeah, you want to look good. Yeah, you want to test your guys. Yeah, you want to put them in situations, and the situations that this Clemson team has been in already should have prepared them for this moment, but for some reason it just didn't. but you get into conference play, you look good in the ACC, you possibly go win your conference tournament. That's your guaranteed way to get into it to the postseason.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, Diesel, if you falter a little bit in conference play, you are relying on games like Alabama and BYU to get you in. When you talk about RPI, I mean, I'm not saying to hit the panic button right now, but a back-to-back loss to Bama and BYU. Let's say Clemson does struggle a little bit and is inconsistent during ACC play. I don't know. Maybe they look back and say, is this team really deserving to get in? If they're hovering around the midway mark of the ACC, I'll just say this. I think this is where we decide how good Brad Brownell is going to be this year in 2025 and what kind of impact he's going to have. What do I mean by that? We just talked about it with Percy's text. A lot of new faces on this team. You lost to Bama, a very tough loss. You mounted an extraordinary comeback, fell short. BYU, 21-0 run in the first half, you fell short. Now we're going to see, Diesel, just what Brad Brownell can do with this group. I think this is a talented group. I don't think this is the most talented group that Brad Brownell has ever had. Now, there might be another station in the upstate that tells you that, but I'm here to tell you this. Now that you've endured these two tough back-to-back losses, let's find out just how good Brad Brownell is, because if he can use those losses, Diesel, to go beat Mercer, to go beat South Carolina, to beat Cincinnati right here in Greenville when they play on Sunday, December 21st, and then they start conference play, bam, right off the cuff at the end of the year and beginning of the new year. They're right in the thick of conference play. So now we're going to see what Brad Brownell can do and if he can use those two losses to make this team better.
I don't know where this program is in comparison of investment of NIL dollars and just general buy-in from those on top, on high, but they had their opportunity, and it seems like the window is closing. Clemson had its opportunity to surpass a couple of programs in the ACC. Anything can happen over the course of the season, of course. But right now, Brad Brownell, who has been entrenched at Clemson for how long? Feels like 40 years, has not found a way to ease past North Carolina. That just doesn't seem to be it under Hubert Davis. I think Hubert Davis is a good coach. North Carolina is just not there under him for some reason. Virginia sitting right there in front of him in the KenPom. You got Louisville, who has gone from the bottom to the top in just a very short period of time with its own set of transfers, no less. Somehow those guys are figuring out a way to gel together, but Brad Brownell, who's been at Clemson forever, can't figure out a way to do the same thing. So,
well, you're saying that for this year's team.
Correct.
He's had three really good teams the past 3 years, though.
And what has he done with it?
He's went the tournaments.
Tournament, early exit. Tournament, early exit.
Yeah, I'm not defending Brad Brownell. I'm just saying let's not act like he's hadn't used the portal. Brad Brownell's done a good job of using the portal. The good news is I think the positive is, if we are just go ahead and calling the season a wrap right now on December the 10th, Diesel, if that's what we're doing, the good news is the transfer portal allows you to get better quickly. So if we're going to sit here and act like the season's already done, that Brad Brownell's no good, let's go ahead and focus on 2026, 2027, and worry about getting guys in. I don't think the season's a wash. I think they can still turn this thing around. They've got to get better. And good coaches, Diesel, that's what their job is to do. Their job is to make teams better. And if this Brad Brownell staff can make this team better, again, it also goes back to talent evaluation. Is this team a tournament team? I think we need more than 10 games to tell us if they're a tournament team.
Well, I don't know who wrote it, but I did see a pop-up on my phone earlier today. Does Brad Brownell have another team that can get him to another tournament berth? I mean, they're already trying to sell this team as a tournament-worthy team. Again, I don't know. I don't remember who wrote it. I didn't see the byline.
Yeah,
but that's what they're trying to pitch. And again, I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying fire Brad Brownell. Dewey is the one saying that. But I'm just saying, it's like, man, you've had multiple years in a row where you've stacked tournament teams. You've shown that you can use the portal effectively, and you're still having moments like this multiple times over the course of the season. Again, this is not the first time Clemson has crapped the bed in a half or lost a game that way. you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I think he'd be the first one to tell you they've got to be better. I think Brad Brownell would be the first one to say, hey, we've got to be better. We know that. But I also think he would tell you, Diesel, guess what? The tournament's not decided today. And you know what? We've got a long season ahead of us. And while we've got to be better, I'm just, going into my coach's speak here, I'm just thinking that Brad Brownell would probably tell you there's a lot of basketball to be played. Let's see. Let's give them a chance in ACC play and see what this team can do. But definitely 2 back-to-back tough losses against Alabama and BYU. Diesel, if you haven't heard this audio, Coach O went on Bussin' with the Boys. This is incredible. And we've got to get into a conversation where he pretty much told us what we already knew about some cha-ching, some cash, and which way it walks in the facility, through the back door, through the front door, and 2 pieces of audio of Coach O next.
4-4 Fan Phone. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, we love to bring you some good audio on this show. And my goodness, if you haven't heard this audio with Coach O, Ed Orgeron, Diesel, busting on the boys. He was on just a few days ago. And you know what Coach O does? He says what Coach O thinks. And boy, does it create good content. Or what? Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. Let's get into this. We also want to dive into a conversation. We'll end the segment with Diesel before our daily wires, but he talked about players being paid. You know, now that NIL's here, there's some people that think this is the first time players have ever been played. Believe it or not. Did you know that? First time.
Really?
Yeah, really. That's what some people believe. But Coach O burst that bubble. All right, 2 pieces of audio here to listen to and react to. These are great audio clips. Number 1, Adrian Peterson, Diesel. Number 2 is Joe Burrow recruitment. Which one do you want first? You want to hear Adrian Peterson or Joe Burrow first?
I know this Joe Burrow piece of audio.
You've heard
it's
it?
Hilarious. I want to hear that one first.
Okay, Joe Burrow piece of audio first. The recruitment story from Ed Orgeron. Here we go.
I said, Joe, I don't get you, they're going to fire me. I get you, we're going to win the national championship. That's how important you are to me. Now, I needed a quarterback. We had spring ball. I had Jamar. I had Justin. I'll tell you the recruiting story about that. But the quarterback is the guy. You got to have him. He said, Coach, there's a guy named Joe Burrow at Ohio State that is transferred. You ought to look into him. So I walk out in the hall. The guys were grading the tape. I say, anybody know a guy named Joe Burrow? And Bill Bush was on my staff. Hey, Coach, I was there. I was there in the recruitment of Joe. He said, Coach, we get Joe Burrow, we're going to the college football playoffs. I said, go get Joe Burrow. So Joe comes on a visit with his mom and daddy, great people. And the first thing he tells me, I say, hey, Joe, how you doing? Coach, I don't want to talk to you. What? He goes, Coach, I know you're a great recruiter. All I want to do is talk football and eat crawfish. I'm saying to myself, man, if I didn't need a quarterback so bad, I'd put that song on his ass on a plane right now so bad. Yeah, okay, Joe. That's all I said. So the next day we had a football meeting. There's about 12 of us there. His daddy, Jerry Sullivan, guys that have been in the NFL. It took me 5 minutes to figure out. Remember what Jimmy Johnson told me? What first thing? First degree? Smart quarterback. Joe was the smartest guy in the room, including me, including all the coaches, including his mama, my mama, his daddy, and everybody. And that was okay with me. Joe wants to eat crawfish, right? So we get there. My on-campus recruiting coordinator comes up to say, Coach, they ain't got no crawfish. I said, call my friend Boudreaux, tell him to cook some crawfish. He always got crawfish. Tell him to bring it through the kitchen, put it on the tray that says the restaurant we at, and serve it to Joe. I'll be damned. 30 minutes, what we got? Hot crawfish for Joe, right? I said, Joe, I want to talk to you. He went, yes, sir. I knew it. So I took him outside. This might have been the most important talk I ever had in all my life. We're in the parking lot, okay? The gravels, road people, the dust is coming. I said, Joe, if you tell anybody about this conversation, it never happened. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I said, Joe, I don't get you, they're going to fire me. I get you, we're going to win the national championship. That's how important you are to me. I said, Joe, I don't.
So that is Ed Orgeron's take, his story on the Joe Burrow recruitment story. Remind you, he was at Ohio State, right? I don't know if there's a better part. There's a lot to unpack there. I don't know if there's a better part of the story, though, than them being at a restaurant that doesn't have crawfish, Joe Burrow wanting crawfish. And I don't know if it's true or not. He says it is. And him calling his friend, what was the friend's name?
Boudreaux.
Boudreaux? Boudreaux. Hey,
Everybody in
Boudreaux.
Louisiana's got a friend named Boudreaux.
Yeah, Boudreaux, bring some crawfish through the back door of the restaurant and put it on a plate so Joe Burrow can have crawfish. Is that really true? Like, did that really happen, Diesel?
I don't care if it's true. That's a phenomenal story.
Good point. It is. I mean, it doesn't get any better. And lo and behold, guess what? He was right. Joe Burrow wins him a national championship, and they were that close. And just to think a few years later, Diesel, at Orgeron, not good enough. Bye, right? So that one's pretty good. The Joe Burrow one's good. I like, however, the Adrian Peterson recruitment story a little bit better. You haven't heard this. Tolos, if you haven't heard this, this one's pretty good. And I think this is going to tie in well to kind of what we're going to end this segment with, and a quote that he talked about when, he used to pay players and how he did so, Diesel. But what extent do coaches go to get a player? Think about that. What extent would a coach go to get a player?
It's not just phone calls.
No.
It's not stopping by his mama's house.
No.
It's not the pamphlets that they send out with, nice glossy photos of the stadium. That doesn't get anybody to sign anymore.
It doesn't. And by the way, before I play this, breaking news, Tennessee is set to hire former Penn State and Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles as its next defensive coordinator. So Jim Knowles goes from Ohio State to Penn State to Tennessee, back to back to back. How about that? Breaking news for you.
Surprised he didn't follow. I know they hired Brett Pry, but I'm surprised he wasn't, a strong candidate to follow
James,
to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, James Franklin. Yeah. That's right. All right, so here's the Adrian Peterson story from Ed Orgeron. This one's pretty good. What do you think about this one, Tolos?
Let me tell you the one I didn't get, Adrian Peterson. So Adrian went down there, a little East Texas place. He comes to USC, has a great visit, loves it. But Adrian said, Coach, I got a problem. And I know he don't mind me saying this, and I'll say it with utmost respect because I love him. Coach, my daddy's incarcerated in Texarkana. Bob Stoops has already gone in there to see him. He said, Coach, I got to go see my dad, man. And if you can convince my dad to come to USC, I want to come. But there's another thing I need to talk to you about. So we tried to get into jail, but everybody else tried. They wouldn't let them do it. So I said, Adrian, what is the other thing we need to talk about? He goes, Coach, my dad will get to watch me play in Texarkana. They play Oklahoma games. He goes, I'm not going to Texas. I'm going to Oklahoma.
So I want to stop the audio. Tolo's basically, Diesel, what he's saying is Adrian Peterson has said in Texarkana, his dad's incarcerated, they show Oklahoma games, right? So that's the main reason he wants to go to Oklahoma, where we all know he ended up going, right? Because the prison that his dad is in Texarkana shows the Oklahoma game. So setting the scene, here's how the rest of it unfolds.
Adrian, my dad will get to watch me play in Texarkana. They play Oklahoma games because I'm not going to Texas. I'm going to Oklahoma. I said, Adrian, if your daddy, if they showed them USC games over there, would you come? He said, Coach, I come tomorrow. If you promise me, my daddy could see every one of my games. I went back to Los Angeles. I went to speak to the mayor. I went to speak to every influential person that I could talk to. And I tried to get Adrian's daddy transferred from Texarkana to Los Angeles jail, man. I tried. I busted my butt. I couldn't do it, man. Just there's too many red tape.
Were you ever close?
No. They looked at me like, you can't do that, man.
Is that the greatest distance you ever gone to try to get a player?
Yep, that's competing.
That is wild.
That is competing.
That is crazy. That is competing.
Yeah, that's competing.
So there you go. That is what linked, what extent, Diesel. We have college coaches, past and present. What extent a coach will go to. Ed Orgeron trying to get, when he's at Southern Cal, trying to get Adrian Peterson out of Texarkana. He says, look, maybe we can move your dad from Texas halfway across the country to L.A. to a different state. If it was the same state, Diesel, maybe Ed Orgeron could have done it. Ooh. Like if he was in Louisiana, you telling me the Louisiana governor wouldn't transfer somebody? Like, come on, they'd have him transferred that same day.
That's
but
a beautiful story.
Moving them, trying to get the dad transferred to Los Angeles he can watch his son play.
Can I make a request, Cole, that if and when the day comes that I lose a parent, you will call Ed Orgeron to get him to break the news to me? Because that man could tell me literally anything, and I'd be laughing and enjoying myself in a matter of moments. Nobody can tell a story like that.
Nobody.
He is just an infinitely likable guy. You know that he's a little bit of a scumbag, but he's a likable guy.
He's a likable scumbag, though.
Yes, he is.
Who doesn't love? I mean, that you're right. You love him. Everybody loves him. He's likable. So two really good Coach O clips there: Adrian Peterson and the Joe Burrow recruitment story. Now let's get to this. Let's spend the next few minutes on one quote that he did give
I've got the audio.
Oh, you do
of
have
this
it.
quote.
All right, let's get the audio and then we'll react to it.
Yeah, here's Ed Orgeron talking about what would it be like if he had to recruit in the modern NIL space.
Yeah.
We all know that SEC was NIL before NIL.
Hey, you know,
I love that
look
line.
at it. Look at it. You know,
We're way past it. Can we now just admit
it's
it?
all good. Hey, you know what? I say, hey, coach, you've been out of coaching for a while, and how are you going to adjust that NIL? I said, well, it's a minor adjustment. And they said, what do you mean? I said, back then, we used to walk through the back door to cash. And now we just got to walk through the front door to cash.
So that's incredible. But I beg the question, Diesel, why? And again, this is open. I want to hear from the Tolos at 844-326-3663. Across the upstate, wherever you're listening, however you're watching, listening, whatever. I want to hear from you. Diesel, you as well here. Why was the SEC, or let me back up. Why is it perceived, because perception is reality, right? Why is it perceived as if the SEC was the only school, was the only conference that had the bag that before NIL could go out and get the best players? Because we know how dominant that conference was, and then NIL hits the scene, and guess what? The Big Ten starts winning national championships. Bam, bam, back to back. ACC, teams start getting better. Guess what? There's parity now in the SEC. Vanderbilt, Indiana. Why? You're telling me that, again, perception. It's perceived as if SEC programs were the only ones with cash.
It's because they're the ones who are winning, and you got to try to discredit them, give them a black eye, take them down any way you possibly can, because you're not able to do it on the field. Are you telling me that Michigan never paid anybody, that Ohio State never paid anybody, that Penn State, all these programs located in and around big northern, manufacturing hubs, they didn't have unscrupulous businessmen willing to give out, $500 handshakes to get a running back to their school? Of course they did. And let's not forget Pony Excess. It was going down in the Big 8 conference for years before that. Yeah, just go back and watch the interview with Craig James and Eric Dickerson talking about their recruitment. All of a sudden, a brand new Trans Am, just like the one from Smokey and the Bandit, shows up at Eric Dickerson's driveway, and nobody seems to figure out how it happened. It was going down everywhere.
But I wonder why those... I agree with you. It was happening everywhere, but why was it only translating to the SEC schools winning?
Because you only focus on the team that's winning. The conference that's winning, the conference that's dominant.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why weren't other conferences winning? Why weren't Michigan? Why wasn't Texas A&M winning?
If everybody was
oil
cheating,
money,
why was as the SEC the only one winning? If everybody was cheating, it should have been relatively equal around the
maybe
country,
it boils down to the SEC was cheating better. I truly am asking the question because I don't know. A&M was in the Big 12?
Yep.
You're telling me that A&M couldn't be successful by cheating before they joined the SEC? That makes no sense to me.
Well, Southern Cal was winning national championships. You telling me
that's true?
Everybody knows that they were paying players.
Vince Young, right? At Texas,
yep.
Before Texas and Texas A&M joined, and
Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, those guys were all getting paid. I wish we could go back to a day, Cole, where we know everybody's getting paid. I don't even care if it's under the table. If we could just stop the transfer portal and keep these guys getting paid, I'm fine with it. I don't care to know that, hey, the running back across the field for my team's making $1 million this year. I don't care. It's fine. Go get what you can get.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to be able to up and leave, at the end of the season just because you feel like it.
In South Carolina, I mean, you go look and you hear stories, you get close with people who were, near the programs, had things to do with the programs. It's not like Clemson and South Carolina were innocent either, but it is just funny, though, that we have this perception. And again, it goes back to what I just said a few minutes ago, Diesel, that perception is reality. The perception was nobody was getting paid. The perception was this was an amateur sport where college athletes were not making money. That's what the perception was. We all know what happened in those McDonald's bags, right? And how, money was funneled in other ways. And you're telling me that Nick Saban teams never paid players along the way, right, throughout Nick Saban's dominance? No, there's no way. It didn't happen. So it's intriguing to hear that and ask the question as to why the SEC was so good at it, but other teams just weren't as good at it.
But I thought Nick Saban got players to Alabama by creating value in their future. You come here, you develop, you learn good habits, and I'll get you into the NFL where you'll get paid.
That too.
Yeah, when you can offer all of that, all at the same time. Maybe it's just that the SEC was the sexy conference, and so that's still where a lot of players, hey, if I get a choice between going to play for Michigan or going to play for Alabama, do I want to go play somewhere that's cold and get $500,000, or would I rather go somewhere that's warm and get paid $500,000? I'm going somewhere that's warm.
Buckeye Mike on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line 844-326-3663. Buckeye Mike says, Southwest Conference was the Wild West back then. The governor of Texas was involved.
What if the governor of Louisiana was involved with getting Joe Burrow to LSU?
Surely not. Why would the governor of Louisiana be involved in sports, right? I mean, are you kidding me?
When we come back, Cole, we have a lot to get to. Our Daily Wires next. A lot to get to, Cole. Let's hit it with our daily wires, the buzz around the sports world. If you missed the first segment of the show, Clemson got out to a big halftime lead over number 10 BYU last night in the Jimmy V Classic, but they could not hold on, giving up a huge run. The BYU Cougars outscored them by 23 in the second half, including a contested buzzer beater shot. The Tigers fell 67-64. Also last night in the Jimmy V Classic, a great game here as well. Number 5, UConn slipped past number 18, Florida, 77-73.
Last thing I'll say on this Clemson thing, I didn't mention this earlier, Diesel. I will say this. When you have the kind of 2 losses that Clemson's had against Bama and then again last night against BYU, I'll tell you this. Those are the type of losses that just sting. Those are the type of losses that you can't get rid of. All losses hurt. But, man, the way in which you lost not once but back-to-back, I know those guys are ready to flush it. Let's just see if they can.
After a bit of a slow opening 10 minutes last night, Furman pulled away convincingly at home against Bob Jones. They won the game 105-57. 6'11" Furman forward Cooper Bowser went 11 for 14 for 24 points. Furman will play next at Manhattan on December 18th.
Let's go.
There is a University of South Carolina Board of Trustees meeting set for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. To approve contracts, Cole.
Three contracts, it looks like.
You're right.
Yeah.
Looks like right now, offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, new running backs coach Stan Drayton, who spent last year at Penn State, and veteran offensive line coach Randy Clements, who was with Kendall Briles at TCU as their O-line coach this season.
There'd be 3 good hires, I'm telling you. Would be.
Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark fired back at Notre Dame's AD Pete Bevacqua, calling his behavior, quote, egregious, especially after the ACC saved Notre Dame during COVID. Shocker. Pete Bevacqua doesn't see it the same way.
Can we end this? What are we doing here? You're just making yourself look worse.
Tit for tat, back and forth.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, amid this whole fight, Pete Bevacqua trying to hang on to the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Apparently, he is receiving some interest from NFL teams, including the New York Giants. Pete says he's going to push to retain Marcus Freeman and make him one of the highest paid coaches in college football.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
After 2 seasons at Arizona State, quarterback Sam Leavitt has informed his coach, Kenny Dillingham, that he intends to enter the transfer portal in 2024. He threw for just shy of 2,900 yards and 24 touchdowns. He only played in 7 games this year due to a foot injury. Georgia and Louisville have agreed to cancel their home-and-home series in 2026 and 2027. They say they will try to schedule a neutral site game on a later date. Also, Georgia and NC State cancel their home-and-home series in 2033 and 2033 and 2034.
And I cannot report this officially yet, but I do have some reports in that are unofficial that Lenore Sellers will be staying at South Carolina. Again, it's reports.
It's Sam Leavitt to Miami, I guess.
Right. It's not official, but I am getting a little wind from the would this be upwind of Columbia? It's just
you don't want to be downwind really of anything. That's a bad place to be.
It's drafting, it's drifting up toward the upstate, and I'm catching some feelers that it looks like Lenore's might be staying next year.
Well, here is something that is official. Phillip Rivers has Roger Dorned himself. He has activated himself. The 44-year-old quarterback will come out of retirement to play in his 17th NFL season. He is joining the injury-riddled Colts practice squad. So, there's no reason to believe he's going to see the field, but it's possible he's going to join the practice squad. Former Chargers cornerback Quentin Jammer posted on his social media recently that he played several games while intoxicated during his NFL career, saying, quote, true story, in 2011, I played completely bleep-faced drunk in at least 8 games. He went on a series of social media posts about the real-world problems that football players face, and that all those problems get trapped with nowhere to go, leading, I suppose, to his alcohol abuse. And he talked about saying a lot of people off themselves because of these problems, but I'm still here.
Not good.
Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1 off the strength of a 3-goal third period. The 7-17 Hornets will face the 9-14 Chicago Bulls Friday at 7 o'clock. Tolos, your pre-Christmas bowl picks are due starting in just 8 minutes. You can pick any bowl game, the Army-Navy game, and college football playoff first round games that are being played before Christmas Day. So the last one is the Christmas Eve Sheridan Hawaii Bowl featuring Cal versus Hawaii.
So you're telling me any college football game that's played before December 25th?
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
Whoa.
And last one for you, Cole. This is a funny one. It wasn't intended to happen this way, but it just kind of coincided and lined up. Egypt and Iran have lodged a formal complaint with FIFA after it was revealed that their June 26th World Cup match in Seattle would coincide with a pre-planned Pride celebration outside of the stadium.
Oh, my God.
In case you didn't know, homosexuality is not looked very kindly upon in that culture. And in both countries, you can be jailed for openly admitting that you're gay.
Wow. Thank you for that. I really needed that on a Wednesday. Talking about a curveball.
Right?
The Upset Picks Challenge, it opens. Not 1, not 2, but 7 minutes from right now. And you heard Diesel, any, and I mean any pre-Christmas college football game. It's open. It's a free game to you, Tolos. And we need to get those upset picks in. Let's have a big, and I mean big, turnout. Upset Picks Challenge. It's not over yet. That's next.
Diesel and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate.
It is time, Diesel. Even though college football season is winding down, guess what? The Upset Picks Challenge, it's not over yet. It's still rolling on.
I didn't hear no bell.
You didn't hear it? You didn't hear it?
When I heard that bell, that's a movie quote. I didn't hear no bell.
What movie?
Rocky.
Oh, it is rolling on. Speaking of, there's your boxing. You like that? Boxing bell. The Upset Picks Challenge. It's open at 844-326-3663. And here we go. The Hub City Spartanburgers text line already flooding. The Upset Picks are coming in feverishly. Again, 844-326-3663. If you have never played, you say, well, Cole, it's too late. Didn't play, didn't participate in the Upset Picks Challenge brought to you by Ingles Markets. No, not too late. I tell you, you can still get in today. You can still, Diesel, get on the board.
Yeah, you can.
Which, hey, a lot of Tolos will not finish on the board, so you can. And what we're looking for is your name, your game, and the point spread. So you Tolos out there, if you're new to the show, welcome to the show. We want you to try to find an upset pick. You look on ESPN.com. The spreads were locked in an hour ago. You try to find an underdog, a team that's the underdog that you believe will win the game outright. You text that game in with your name, the game, and the spread to 844-326-3663. It's bowl games and the Army-Navy game pre-Christmas. Just perfect example. Buckeye Mike sends his in and says Miami plus 3.5 over A&M. That text is a perfect example, Diesel, of how you send your upset picks in, and we need them at 844-FAN-PHONE.
Yeah, you're going to have about 17 games to choose from.
Oh,
18 games, 18 games, because you get any bowl game, any college football playoff opening round game, because we already have the spreads on those, and the Army-Navy game to choose from this week. So you got a lot of choices. There's 18, 19 games to choose from.
A lot of games.
Some have varying spreads. The hard part here, Cole, is we don't know what these teams are going to look like come bowl season, right? I mean, so many of these guys are announcing that they're going to enter the transfer portal. Some coaches, I think Kenny Dillingham has come out and said that he's going to let players that want to enter the transfer portal but also want to come back and play the bowl game, he's going to let them play in the bowl game. It's something to the effect of, like, why take away one more opportunity to put the helmet on for these guys? Some of them ultimately are going to choose not to do that, but there's just, it's a hard thing to pick when you can pick a game sometime over the next 2 days. We want you to get it in as early as possible, but you make your pick and then all of a sudden, poof, your entire offensive line has entered the transfer portal. You just don't know.
I remember last year.
There are some big spreads available this week. How about 10.5 points? No, sorry, that's a post-Christmas game. You got a 9.5 point spread between Toledo and Louisville. There's a 21.5 point spread between James Madison and Oregon. Tulane Ole Miss is a 17.5 point spread. 6 points in the Memphis NC State game. I mean, you got to be on top of your portal tracking to know who's even going to play in these games, and it could change before you get there. As soon as you think you know something about these teams, it's gonna go squirrely on you.
They're hard to pick. I remember last year the Alabama-Michigan game. I thought all week leading up to the game, I said, look, this Michigan team, they're decimated. Alabama's the much better team, even though Alabama didn't have a great year last year. I remember thinking this was a lock. Alabama's not losing to Michigan, and what happened? Michigan beat them in a bowl game. These are hard to pick now because I know the question will be asked, Diesel, the games on Christmas Day do not count, right?
There are no games on Christmas Day.
Trick question. You didn't fall for it. Dang it.
It's true.
NFL, though. NFL this year.
There are
we get I think 2 or 3 NFL games on Christmas Day on Netflix this year. I love that. I think last year was the first year of that.
Oh man, I gotta get my in-laws to update the password.
Yep, you do. If you want to watch, you do. So there is one game on Christmas Eve, and there are Diesel 3 college football playoff games to choose from. It's 4. Yeah,
4 playoff games.
Yeah, because guess what? Next Friday night, we get our first playoff game. Alabama, Oklahoma, next Friday night in Norman. Can you imagine being in Norman, Oklahoma for that game next
they gave
Friday?
The students the day off of class.
They should.
Yeah.
They should.
Who's going to be able to focus on
I'm
going
telling
to
you.
class? But hey, for a fact, Cole, that even though there's a college football playoff game going on campus, there's some nerd in the library trying to finish up a thesis.
Oh, probably like 90 nerds in the library,
Exactly.
but that's why they're nerds. They don't even know what football is. I'll tell you
Trying
this.
to figure out the coefficient of the forward pass.
Right. Look, that environment in Norman, Oklahoma, for those that have never been to Oklahoma, I'll tell you this. I've been. There's nothing to do in Oklahoma, and especially in Norman, Oklahoma, on a Friday night.
It just sounds like a boring town. Have you ever met somebody that's fun named Norman?
No, but here's the question I do have. This is a serious question. I want to know, and maybe this is something that will never be able to be solved, but this game is being played on December the 19th. That's next Friday. Diesel, kids are already going home for Christmas. Kids are already going home. Christmas, exams are like, I know a lot of colleges here that have already had exams. They're already home.
Yeah.
They're already home for Christmas now. Colleges get like 3-4 weeks off for Christmas.
Yeah,
legitimate
tell them
question.
they need to be fired for having too much time off.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. I still think it'll be packed, but I would imagine, Diesel, you would have a lot of students who live out of state that aren't going to be there for that game because it's a few days before Christmas.
Oh, I think they're coming back.
You think?
I think they're coming
Costs money,
back.
though.
Do what?
To fly. I mean, if you live
They're
across,
not leaving.
you don't think you leave?
They're not leaving. Here's what I do want to know. Like dorms, right? Don't they shut down the dorms and they kick people out of their dorms who are living there? Are they going to make a special exception?
That's what I don't know.
For the college football playoff.
We need to find out. We need to. I have been thinking about that for a while now. I want to know. I'm going to call Oklahoma University.
This is unprecedented territory. I think that needs to be a thing, right? On all these campuses. If you are a freshman, sophomore, whatever, living on campus in a dorm, they should extend the date that you have to move out until after the round of on-campus games. The possibility of hosting an on-campus game means you should not have to move out of your dorm.
No, I'm not moving out. Not until the game is played. 844-326-3663 is the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. We need your upset picks. Tolos, the upset picks challenge. It's not over. It's not even close to being over. We have, Diesel said, 17, 18 games, and it all starts on Saturday, this Saturday. Yeah. We've got, at least 3 games this Saturday?
There are 2 games on Saturday. There's actually an FCS game if you want to watch it. I mean, it's South Carolina State versus Prairie View A&M. That's the Cricket Celebration Bowl. That's the HBCU Bowl. There's also Boise State versus Washington, and that one is a 9.5-point spread. I think there's a good chance a lot of people take that game. Boise State is still a good football team. They're big, man. I don't know. They're not like Washington big, but they got some good players on that team. They got a heck of a running back. Everybody was talking about Ashton Genty so much last year that they completely forgot about Dylan Riley. And Dylan Riley was a 1,000-yard back this year, 10 touchdowns on the season, averaged 6 yards a carry. That dude is really good, and he's a sophomore, by the way. They're going to be taking on Washington. I don't know how many players are going to transfer off of these rosters without digging too deeply into what's happening with these 2 rosters and how much churn is going on. But I got to believe that there's still enough Boise State players that care about beating.
You would think,
Washington, right? I mean, that's a 2 schools that are not that far apart. It's a G5 versus a Power 4. It's a Boise State team that's going to be entering the Pac-12 next season. You don't want to have a failure to launch going. Like, you're joining the Pac-12, you want to beat the team that just left the Pac-12.
Is that first game you brought up eligible?
No, it is not.
Okay, so
no, it is not. There's no line on that game.
So Saturday we have the Boise State Northwestern game, and then we also have the Army-Navy game. And that is a 6-point spread. 3 o'clock on CBS. I love watching the Army-Navy game. Diesel, a 7-1 team in Navy and the American, 4-4 Army team in the American. Navy's 9-2 overall. Army was 6-5. And again, this game's played at M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. Navy's favored by 6. It's eligible for the Upset Picks Challenge. Do you have any interest in this one?
Possibly. I just don't think there's a good chance. I mean,
it's a rival.
Think about this. These guys ain't transferring.
No?
This might be the only game where the two teams are playing fully equipped.
I think there's a little interest there for me. And the reason I say that is, like, we talk about it all the time in these rivalry-type games. You just throw all this stuff out the window, right? Point spread, to heck with it. To heck with the 6-point spread. I know Navy's the better team on paper, but we've seen this game, be bizarre in past years. So I'm looking at that one.
Think about it this way. When you look back at Army's schedule, their losses, only one of them was by more than one score. Only one.
Close
they
games.
Lost to East Carolina 28-6 back on September 25th.
Wow.
But otherwise, they went to double overtime with Tarleton State and lost. That's a bad loss if you're Army. They lost to North Texas in overtime by a touchdown. Blown out by East Carolina on the road. One possession game on the road at Tulane, a team that's a college football playoff team. And their last loss came to Tulsa, a 1-point loss at home against Tulsa, a team that, was not good this year. That's another bad loss.
I'll tell you what, that is interesting. I'm going to look at that one. I'm going to look at that game.
Interesting.
In terms of maybe 6 points would be big in the Upset Picks Challenge, trying to end the year on a good note, right? Tolos, if you just tuned in, the Upset Picks Challenge is open, 844-326-3663. We need your name. We need the game and the point spread. Diesel said 18 games to choose from. Do you have early lean yet?
Man, I am looking at that Boise State game plus 9.5. I'm looking at Kennesaw State plus 4 against Western Michigan. Kennesaw State won Conference USA this year. It's a really good football team, And I think maybe some of that extra juice from feeling good carries over a little bit. Maybe they don't lose quite as many guys in the portal. It's so hard to tell. You don't know who's going to be playing. You don't know who's going to be coaching in these games. I mean, it would take a beautiful mind like Delvin's to be able to keep track of all that.
Oh, yeah, where's Delvin, by the way?
Yeah, where are you, Delvin? All the standard rules apply. -1 for an incorrect pick, -2 for not making a pick at all. So don't get penalized for not paying attention to picking during bowl season.
I'm looking at CJ Bailey and NC State. I want to see, I think it'll be interesting to track over the next week, Diesel, how many opt-outs there are. NC State 7-5 on the season. This is the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. It sounds like we're combining bowl games now. NC State's playing Memphis.
Yeah, team that lost their coach.
What'd you say?
Memphis lost their coach.
That's right. Yeah.
Or is losing their coach, and they hired Charles Huff from Southern Miss.
Memphis is a good team, though. They're 8-4. This game will be played in Tampa. Should be good weather, right? Raymond James Stadium. I kind of like Memphis in this one for 6 points. I'm going to hover around that 6 point. I think I'm going to hover around 6 to 8 points, Diesel. Again, the point spreads are interesting this year or this week, rather, for these picks that we're allowed to choose. No interest in Alabama, Oklahoma. 1.5 point spread. Oklahoma, by the way, a home dog. Home dog to Bama.
How about that?
Yep.
Even after getting stomped by Georgia in the conference championship game and -3 yards rushing, people ain't sleeping on Alabama.
No, here's what I want to know, though, and this is a legitimate question, Diesel. When you talk about what happened against Georgia for Alabama, they could not run the football in the second half, right? What they have -6. I mean, they had negative yardage in the second half rushing. Does this not concern you? Alabama's inability to run the ball all season long, and then you're telling me they're going to go with Brent Venables having 3 weeks to prepare for Alabama. They're going to go play a Brent Venables defense that's pretty good, especially at stopping the run. I don't know. I know they're still talented. They're a 10-win team, uber talented. They're one of the best receivers in college football. I like Ty Simpson a lot. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in college football. But if you can't run the ball, Diesel, it does turn you into a little bit of a one-dimensional team. And if Kirby Smart basically handed Brent Venables the cheat sheet, the blueprint on how to stop their run,
Sure.
Are you telling me that doesn't give you concern? I don't know. That this one's going to be I think this is one of the more intriguing first-round games.
Yeah, that's going to be just an unbelievable environment. Not that Alabama hasn't faced good environments all season long. They have. That's what happens when you're playing in the SEC. But this one's going to feel extra. It's the night game, the 8 o'clock game on that night, on that evening of Friday, December 19th. It's going to be electric in that stadium.
Brent Venables versus Kalen DeBoer right now, if you had to pick that game. Just off the cuff, which way are you leaning?
Probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Do I think Bama's going to lay that egg twice in a row?
I know it's tough, right?
I'm going to go Brent. I think it's going to be a better game, but I still think Oklahoma wins it at home.
By the way, Oklahoma 2025, they're allowing under 100 yards rushing per game. That is elite. Diesel, they are holding teams to approximately 2.3 yards per carry. Think about that. It sounds like a typo. It's mind-boggling. They're fifth best nationally in rush yards allowed, right? So you're talking about this team that's really, really good at stopping the run versus a team in Alabama that cannot run the football.
It's kind of like looking back on that Oklahoma-South Carolina game when South Carolina's rushing offense just was not there. Oklahoma shut them down, and he's going to make Ty Simpson go out there and beat him.
Tolos, let's get 10 more entries before we run off the break. 844-326-3663. Again, 844-FAN-PHONE, F-A-N-F-O-N-E. We need your name, the game, and the spread. Do not be one of the Tolos, the listeners out there that, it's late in the season, not going to get your pick. No, get your pick in. Get it in. We need them.
We just got the big one, Cole.
The
Rebel
Vol
51 is taking JMU plus 21.5 over Oregon. How about that?
That is the biggest?
Yeah, that's the biggest
points
pre-Christmas bowl. Post-Christmas, just for the sake of curiosity.
You're not going to find a spread bigger than 21.5 post-Christmas. There's no way, right?
Looks like post-Christmas 4.5, 7
for a bowl game. I would be shocked. There's no way.
These things. There's a 15.5 point spread between Nebraska and Utah. Utah favored by 15.5. That's a post-Christmas bowl game. And then let's see. There's a 10-point spread between Rice and Texas State. You can't lose to food, as Josh Pate always says. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of huge spreads, but by far to this point, JMU Oregon is the biggest
one. 21.5. The biggest postseason point spread. And who was it? Rebel Vol 51.
Rebel Vol 51.
Wow.
And we just got another big one from Hurst. Hurst says he hasn't been able to play much all season, but I need to go out with a splash. Give me Tulane over Ole Miss for 17.5 points.
Man. Yeah. That's a big one. There's the two G5s. Bang, bang, right? Right off the cuff.
We saw this game play out already, but it's a different scenario. All these teams losing their coaches to somebody, how much will that affect these teams?
It is. It's going to be interesting. I cannot wait. And by the way, I know we got to run off to a break because we have a guest coming up. I can't wait to get into this conversation with Bill Bender of These Sporting News, Tolos. Make sure you turn it on and leave it on because we do have Bill Bender coming up at 5:22.
Yep. Next, David Newton of ESPN, who covers the Carolina Panthers. That is coming your way next. So anyone that grew up in the Carolinas in the 90s probably went to Carowinds and probably rode that rickety wooden construction roller coaster that you never were 100% sure, Cole, that it was going to stay together. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of feels like what we're dealing with the 2025 Carolina Panthers. They're up, they're down. Anything could go sideways at any given time. David Newton comes on to talk about it. He is with ESPN. He covers the Carolina Panthers. Do you think that was what was an apt metaphor, David? Kind of a rickety wooden roller coaster for the Panthers?
Wasn't that Thunder Road?
Yes.
That was another one too.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Carolinas and I rode all those roller coasters. So yeah, I agree with you. It's consistency has been the big issue for this team. And it's been the big issue for Bryce Young. For every game he had, like the Rams, there's been more games like, he had against the Saints the first time they played him. And he really can't afford to have that type of game again. I mean, as Dave Canales said earlier this week, that they missed some plays in the passing game, and that really cost them in that first game. Plus, they couldn't get the run game going. So the Panthers really need to show, and Bryce Young needs to show consistency over these final 4 games to be a factor in the playoffs or to make the playoffs. Because if they don't do that, then, it's just going to be just like, the last 7 years, another losing season.
David, it's interesting we have this conversation. Diesel and I were talking about this yesterday on the show. I think it's a really difficult job that Dan Morgan has when you talk about the evaluation of Bryce Young, when you talk about the roller coaster, the ups, the downs, the inconsistency. How does a general manager, from what you've gathered, how does a general manager like Dan Morgan do his job, which I think is a very difficult job when you do see such upside, but at the same time, you brought up that Saints game where he was so bad. How do you think Dan Morgan weighs the bad versus the good right now when it comes to finding out if Bryce Young's the guy for the future?
Yeah, I'm actually writing a story about that. I don't know if it's running tomorrow or the next day, but I talked to several executives in NFL and coaches and former coaches and players, and they all agree that these next 4 games are vital for Bryce Young, particularly if the Panthers have any thought of extending his contract before his 4th season. It's a no-brainer they're going to give him the 5th-year option because it just financially it makes too much sense. But you're right, the inconsistency shown. Leadership, he's been consistent, but the inconsistency shown in his playing ability is really something they've got to find out. And what can he do in meaningful games in December? And that's what the next month is going to be for him and the Panthers. So this is a great opportunity for Bryce to prove that he can be that franchise quarterback that they hoped he could be back in 2023 when they drafted him number 1. If he goes back to that up and down, then they're back where they were again. They've just got to wait and see what he can be and what he can become, or if he's going to become that.
David, this may be a little harsh, but I very often on the show refer to Bryce Young as FGR Bryce, which means field goal range Bryce. He's good enough to get you in the end zone once, and he's good enough to get you in field goal range a couple more times throughout the game. Do you believe that the team now is maybe in a position where they could be a little bit more patient with Bryce and keep building better receivers, keep building better tight ends and offensive linemen, and maybe kick the can down the road a little bit on quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, look, they realistically they didn't expect to be in this position this year. The plan was to be more competitive, to see what they could do, improvements on defense, and get to where they could take the next step next year. Because the NFC South is so down, it's anybody's ball game right now between the Tampa Bay and Carolina, and heck, who knows? I mean, if everything falls apart, Atlanta could sneak in, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I think for that standpoint that I don't think they were going to be more patient than they've been right now. But they do feel like they need to keep adding pieces, getting better and better and better. But again, I think these last 4 games are really, really important for Bryce, just to show what he can be in this, this type playoff atmosphere. Because every opportunity right now is like a playoff game for them, and they've got to win. And if he can show that, I think then they'll answer a lot of questions. But if he doesn't, they may have to look at, drafting another quarterback to develop, in the second, third, fourth, fifth round here in the next year or two. And just to be, have some insurance in case Bryce doesn't keep taking those steps. I mean, I think he's shown tremendous strides this year and really has played well a lot, but he's also had a lot of games where he's put them in a position where they're playing catch-up ball or they can't get into their running game. And then I guess my biggest concern is he's not a guy that I don't think has proven he can carry the team himself. He did it against Atlanta, but again, that was Atlanta, and Atlanta's really not been very good this year at showing they can keep anybody tied down. So otherwise, he's got to have a strong running game with him. And I know that helps every quarterback out there, but for Bryce in particular, they need to be able to move him around the pocket. They need to do the rollouts and the bootlegs and things like that, because he needs those things to be able to be effective in the passing game. So yeah, a lot to prove here in the next 4 weeks, and we're going to see what Bryce is really made of.
We're talking to David Newton of ESPN. He covers the Carolina Panthers. David, locally, a lot of talk, a lot of conversation about a former Gamecock and Xavier Legette. Where is this team? Where is this franchise on Xavier? Because when you look at what he's done in 2025, the production doesn't really scream contract extension. I think, again, Dan Morgan might be in a tough spot here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they still like him. They still see flashes of what he can do, but they didn't show a lot of confidence in him when they went out and got T-Mac during the offseason in the draft and used another first-round pick because they weren't sure that Legette could be the type player that they hoped he could be. So I think having T-Mac there gives Legette more room to grow and more time to potentially grow into what he can be. But you're right. He's been, when you talk about inconsistencies, he's really been that.
David, one of our listeners, Joey, texts in. He says he got whiplash 3 different times because of the hurler at Carowinds. You mentioned him there, Ted McMillan. How is his hamstring with an extra week to rest up?
No, he's fine. Good to go. So he's looking like he can be effective this week. Again, they've got to figure out what the Saints defense did to him the last time. It was bad. I mean, they took away the run game. They couldn't make plays in the pass game. T-Mac didn't have a big game either. So they've got to have him very involved in this offense to be effective. So there's just a lot of things they have to figure out from what happened that first Saints game to make sure that those last 3 games, with 2 of them against the Bucks, are going to be meaningful.
David, I want to go back to something you said a minute ago about the expectations of what 2025 were supposed to be. This team in 2025, now that we've seen them, we're seeing, just like you said, they're exceeding the preseason expectations of just getting better, especially defensively, like you brought up. Does this change the game plan? Does this add a little jet fuel to the process, the plan that Dan Morgan and company had in place, that now that this team is reaching these heights a little bit quicker than expected?
No, I mean, Dan's got a long-term plan and ready to go, and that's what he's going to stick to. He knows what this team needs to win. He's been a part of a team that went from 1-15 to the Super Bowl in 3 years, so he knows the process it's going to take to get there, and he's going to stick to it. And I think he's doing it the right way. I mean, he's building, for offensive side, they built, this offensive line last year, and they've been building the defensive up again this year, and they've got to continue to do that to be the balanced team. I mean, he's got some tough decisions to make. I mean, he's got to make what is he going to do at running back? They've already paying Chuba a good bit of money, and what are they going to do with Rico Dowdle? Are they going to pay him to be in there and give him type money that Chuba's got? That's a lot of money to put at one position. It's going to be hard to imagine they'll be able to keep them both. But there's a lot of things that Dan has on his plate. And if you know Dan, he was all about consistency when he was a player, and I think he's going to be that as a general manager, and I think he's shown that so far.
Yeah, David, I think when you look at just the numbers and how the team looks on the field, you'd rather keep Rico Dowdle. But given the way his contract is structured and the way he's performed this year, do you think Chuba is going to be an attractive trade option if that's where they chose to go?
No, I really don't think that's going to be an option. I think they're going to they're probably just going to have to figure out some way to shuffle some things around if they want to keep Rico. And I do think, they probably would like to. But again, what you saw of Chuba the last couple of weeks or couple of games, he didn't play last week, obviously, but what you've seen out of him, he seems to be fully healed from that hamstring. And I mean, he was, to me, probably the better back of the two in their last game against the Rams. He shows them that explosiveness that got him the contract extension. So, even if they have to move on from Rico Dowdle and just keep Chuba, you got Jonathan Brooks that could be back. You still got to wonder what's going to happen with him long term. But the Panthers saw a lot in him when they drafted him, and he can be that type of back that's explosive. And if he can hold up, I mean, injuries have just plagued his career. But I think that's just one of those positions they'll just keep filling up with the best player they can find back there. The sad, but the long-term look at running backs is not really great in the league. So if you can get a good one, you like to keep him. But again, basically teams like to wear them out and move on. So we'll just see what happens with that. But I think they would like to keep him. I just think it's going to be tough financially.
David, do you think the Panthers were surprised by Rico's success?
I don't know if they were surprised. I mean, he had 1,000 yards last year for Dallas. So I think that the way he fit in this offense and the explosiveness and the way he runs with such violence, as Dave Canales likes to constantly say, I think that surprised them a little bit because I don't think they saw that before. But yeah, I think the commitment to him, after they tried that 2-game experiment with playing Chuba and Rico, is pretty obviously what they thought of Rico and his ability. But again, Chuba played so well last game, I feel like they're going to try to blend it in more there and try to get, something out of both of those guys. I think if they can keep both of those guys playing at that level, that's just going to make them more dangerous.
David, who would you nominate? I'll give you one, or you can give me 3 if you want to. It's up to you. As your defensive player of the year for the Carolina Panthers. This is a group that stepped up in a big way, and a couple of rookies have looked good as well.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that, Derek Brown has been the guy. I mean, he's played amazing and shown why he was in the Pro Bowl the year before or 2 years ago when he, before the injury that took him out last year. But I do think that he's shown that he's an elite guy and why they chose to keep him and didn't trade him when other teams wanted him. He's just an elite type player that doesn't come around very often. I mean, he's just all over the place. So, I mean, he's by far the most valuable defensive player on this team. After that, I mean, the one thing that surprised me about this team is, he spent a lot of effort and free agency in the draft to find guys that could sack the quarterback, and their sack production is actually probably less than it was last year when they were the worst in the league. So that's an area they're going to have to upgrade next year and try to get more production out of that, and or hope the 2 rookies they drafted step up and do even more as they hope they would be. But after that, I mean, heck, I guess you go J.C. Horn would be second guy I'd pick as defensive MVP. But again, I think Derek kind of sets the table for all of them.
David, my last question for you, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, obviously a little disappointing, especially locally from Clemson fans, injuries and other things that came into factor. But how do you see his career continuing or ending?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one there. I mean, I think he brought some veteran leadership, particularly after they lost Thielen or traded Thielen back to the Vikings. But they saw something in him that they believed could help them in camp. And, early in camp, he was looking really good, but he's inactive every week this week. And I don't know what it's going to take to get him active. They got David Moore that's coming back too. So he's another guy they got to figure out if he's good enough to make the top 4 or 5 receivers. So I guess it's a good problem to have when you got a guy that's got a Renfrow type talent and active every week. But, whether he'll want to hang around and play another year for the Panthers, not getting to get on the field like he is, I think that's going to be a tough one.
Some breaking news. Just Cole and our eyes just got big. I don't know, David, if you get these updates early because you work for ESPN, or if you get them the same time as everybody else. Just been announced Sharon Moore has been fired by Michigan. Huge news there. But I'm going to wrap it up with this one here. Dave Canales has shown for some reason, maybe a lack of trust in the running game sometimes this year. Maybe wanting to go a little too much with the passing game and putting it on Bryce Young's arm. But, this Brandon Staley defense that wants to stop the big play and force you to run is not particularly good at stopping the run this year. So do you think Dave Canales has enough trust in the combination of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle to put the game on their shoulders if it comes to it?
You would think so. I mean, when he tried to get away from that, Rico and the rest of the offensive people talked to him and said, you got to be more committed to that. You got to remain balanced. And Dave listened to him, and they've been more successful doing that. And he's repeatedly said, we got to keep that balance. We got to keep that balance. He knows that Bryce Young is best when he's got that balance in the offense. He can use a play action pass. He can get him out of the pocket to do different things. So I think for this team to have success down the stretch, Dave Canales has got to be consistent and has, trust in the running game that's going to come around and serve him well if he sticks with it.
David, always appreciate you, man. Great stuff, and thanks for your time.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Absolutely. David Newton, ESPN. Did that just plan the rest of the show? 2 hours?
God.
What?
Right?
What?
Right?
I got the On 3 notification right before you asked David the question, and I just I did. A
9-3 football team this year. End of the season on a loss to Ohio State, but otherwise a pretty good season, especially when you're out there breaking in a new quarterback this year. Just an absolute stunner. Here at 4:37 in the afternoon on a random Wednesday. Something's going on there, right? We are not getting any details other than the fact that Sharon Moore has been fired. So we're going to keep scouring the internet. I don't know that this information has even been released. I'm all over Twitter searching for anything other than the fact that he has been fired. Just maybe some sort of reasoning. Of course, it'll come out as time moves along, but this is huge.
Huge. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going in the very next segment. Michigan has fired their head football coach. We will push the audio that we had for the next segment to tomorrow. And my goodness, what huge breaking news. I would expect the Ohio State fans to be in line on the phone lines, Diesel, in celebration. Buckeye Mike, Tolo Steve, the rest of you will continue to break down what we know, our reaction, your reaction. Sharon Moore fired from Michigan. We'll get into it more next.
on the Fan Upstate.
There's something happening here.
There is something happening, and it's big, Diesel. Michigan has terminated Sharon Moore with cause. And in the commercial break, we have learned more about what has happened, effective immediately following a university's investigation. Credible evidence was found that Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. And just like that, oh my word, the biggest news of the day, Diesel, that is absolutely insane. And then
massive, and good God, if this ends up being true, and it appears at this point that's the way it is, that Sharon Moore will have cost himself one of the best, most sought-after jobs in all of sports here in America to get laid. God.
I'll tell you this. What a bad look for Michigan. And I know this is not Michigan's fault, but my gosh, did Michigan just not get out of enough scandal with cheating? They're called cheaters. That's what they're called. And now Ohio State fans, Penn State, any Big Ten. Diesel, this is just huge news. It just seemed, yesterday just seemed as if we were finally getting past this whole idea that Michigan was, in trouble, in hot water. And now this is absolutely huge news that we have just heard. My goodness, I didn't expect that today.
It's not the first time a head coach has ever stepped out and got a little on the side. But, hey, it's in his contract to never do anything that would bring a negative light on the team and on the program and the university. We don't know if, throughout all of the investigations when it comes to the exit of Jim Harbaugh and all that stuff, if Sharon Moore was already on kind of a thin ice with the university, and this being the thing that really pushed it over the top, that's just idiotic.
And what a bad time, what a bad time to make a bad mistake like this time of year. Are you kidding me? My goodness, this time of year, Diesel, with the transfer portal and the season ending. And what's bad is, before we get to the phone lines, what's bad is they had so much momentum. What momentum this team, this program had with Michigan. What'd you say, 8-3?
9-3.
9-3, a really good season. And it didn't end the way you wanted it to end because you lost to Ohio State. But my gosh, if this program, they have just been through it. Now they're having to deal with this. Tolos, want to hear your reaction. 844-326-3663. Buckeye Mike says Lane Kiffin to Michigan.
There's been all kinds of rumors about Lane.
No. Let's go to the phone lines. Jersey Joe wants to weigh in. What's up, Jersey Joe?
It's a dark, sad day in New York Mets baseball today.
Why is that? Pete Alonso?
Pete Alonso going to Baltimore. Edwin Diaz going to the Dodgers.
Yeah. But you know what? Pete Alonso, you saw that coming, right?
Well, I was hoping they would have reached out to him and paid him,
He's just too good. Kind of like Freddie Freeman, Not saying New York's not a big market, but he's really good at one of the best at his position.
Yeah, but why would you want to go live in Baltimore?
It's a hole. More money.
It's a hole, my friend.
More money, right, Joe?
That's right. More.
More, baby.
Hey, speaking of more, what do you think about Sharon Moore getting fired by Michigan?
I don't know. I didn't get the whole gist of it, so I really don't. I really can't answer that right now.
Well, there's not a whole lot to get. Apparently, he was stooping the secretary, and Michigan fired him for essentially conduct unbecoming.
Bad. Bad look.
That'll get you fired. Yeah, that's for sure.
That'll get you fired. Thanks, Joe. that will get you fired.
On the stream, Shane Barrett says, holy crap, guys, don't put your willy where it don't belong.
Hey, I wonder this.
It's that simple.
I mean, you think about more now, Diesel. Like, this was a guy that was up and coming as a really good coach. What does that do for his career? I mean, look.
He'll apologize. He'll say, my wife and I have undergone some therapy and we're working through our issues. And I pray to God that she can forgive me for this. And like 3 years down the road, a Mac school is going to give him a job, or he's going to be an assistant on somebody's staff.
That's tough. That is tough. I know Michigan. What a gut punch today. Nobody saw that coming. So huge news.
And this late in the process to try to find a head coach. Yeah. Dear God.
I think they'd be better off just letting Dave Portnoy coach him. Really? Because he can buy who he wants.
You know who their head coach is going to be? Dave Portnoy's American Express card with a set of headphones on it.
I mean, does it really matter? Does it really matter? And maybe, just maybe, they can get hard. Maybe, just maybe you can
Jim,
get Harbaugh.
Please. We need you.
Please
we need your squeaky clean record.
Oh, man, that's big news, though, Tolos. Michigan is looking for a new head football coach. How about that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
We got some audio coming up in the very next segment, Cole, from Tom Knotts.
Yes, let's get to that, Diesel. Tom Knotts audio. And, man, Bill Belichick getting shot at from Tom Knotts. We hadn't got to this yet. This is good stuff. We'll get to it next.
and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate.
Well, what a big day, Diesel. It doesn't really matter what else we talk about. The biggest news, Michigan has fired Sharon Moore, and they will be looking for a new coach. We're going to get into this Tom Knotts audio in a second, but for those that just maybe got off work, headed to work, got in the car, turned on the radio, or watching the show, as 122 Tolos are doing, Michigan will now be looking for a new head football coach. And you know what? I just don't know, this late in the cycle with all these coaches already being hired. Do you just name an interim, Diesel, for 2026 and let it ride? I mean, how do you really get who you want right now, right?
You're not getting who you want. I mean, maybe you could throw a tremendous amount of money at Kenny Dillingham, get him away from Arizona State.
Yeah.
He might be one of the best coaches that's said he's not leaving. He said he's not going anywhere. But, I mean, come on. If you could take the job at Michigan from Arizona State, why wouldn't you do it? It's a phenomenal question. Who can you target at this point? Because everybody else, even blue blood programs in your own conference, have had a hard time hiring coaches. The list of candidates is very thin right now.
And does James Franklin regret now going to Virginia Tech?
Wow.
I mean, serious question. Legitimate question. Do you regret going to Virginia? I mean, obviously he didn't know that Sharon Moore was, messing around with the secretary, but this is just wild, because think about it. If this would have happened and James Franklin's available, James Franklin's probably the coach at Michigan right now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he be? So this is wild. Again, the official statement did come out pretty quickly. Brett McMurphy had it first, I do believe. And from Michigan, Sharon Moore has been terminated with cause effective immediately following a university investigation. Credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior.
Well, I'm glad they actually mean it, right? How many companies say zero tolerance, but when it comes to a high-ranking or high-paid official within that organization, they let things slide. They do a big old slap on the wrist. I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Shane Barrett says Hugh Freeze is available. Would that be weird? Would that be wild or what? That would be PJ Fleck, says Buckeye Mike. I just don't know. Is PJ Fleck, is that your best op? No disrespect to him. I know that sounds disrespectful, but you're Michigan.
And, this is as much as the college football world and social media is going to dunk on Sharon in Michigan right now. Remember, he's got a wife and 3 kids.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's just awful. It is. People make mistakes, right? And when you make mistakes, Diesel, in the public light, when you have a job like this, guess what? The whole world's talking about it, right? It's terrible. You're right. It's sad. We'll see what Michigan does in terms of what they're doing postseason, the bowl game, who they decide to name the interim coach.
Could Michigan pull out of its bowl game? Because, how do you got to get your own house in order before you deal with a bowl game?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
you just promote somebody on staff to coach,
I'm gonna
right?
look and see the Michigan coaching staff.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'll tell you that.
Who might they? Oh, they could always. It's already updated on their website, Cole, that Biff Poggi is the interim head coach at Michigan. How about that? If Biff Poggi goes from getting fired at Charlotte to being the head coach at Michigan in a short period of time.
What a turnaround.
Oh my God.
What a turnaround for him, right?
I don't know a whole lot of coordinators and position coaches by name, but I'm looking down this list of coaches at Michigan. I don't know who any of these guys are.
And Diesel, what's crazy
Chip Lindsey is there. Chip Lindsey's been around for a while.
It's not like they're just playing in a gimme bowl. They're playing Texas. They're playing Texas in Orlando. That's a big deal. I don't know how many opt-outs they'll have. It's the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl in Orlando, right? They're playing Texas. That's a big – you're going against it's 2 of the biggest brands in sports.
This is weird. Side note here, Michigan sponsors their head coaching positions on their website. Like Chip Lindsey is the Sanford Robertson offensive coordinator.
What?
He is also the Robert McCollum family quarterbacks coach.
What?
So somebody,
I've never heard of that.
I assume these are, high-level donors that have been in this program so it's not like it's the Valero, offensive coordinator, but still.
Yeah, still.
I mean, come on.
Speaking of wild, we did not get to this because Monday and Tuesday were such busy shows, Diesel, but Dutch Fork won another state championship over the weekend, like their 98th. I'm kidding. It was Tom Knott's 10th, I believe, off the top of my head, at Dutch Fork. This audio really made waves across the internet over the weekend. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media. I don't think Tom Knott's, the head coach of this, of the Silver Foxes, Diesel, meant like for this to go as viral as it did, but it went viral. I saw it on just about every social media platform out there that you can find, and it just raised the bigger question as to if maybe an investigation will be done, maybe some, I don't know if it's illegal tampering or how you want to call it or what you want to name it, but here's the audio. We listen and react.
Julian Walker, the scoop and score. What a week he has had. Now officially a Gamecock. How special was that to see him finish that way?
Very, very special. I was a little bit worried about him because he was so distracted. Belichick kept him on the phone for an hour, throwing money at him, and it was just crazy. And he was so stressed out. And finally, after he announced it, he felt like the weight of the world was off his shoulder, and he did turn his attention to this, and just has been a marvelous leader, tremendous character. South Carolina got a great player, and just a great guy to be around. If you watched him on the sideline, just an incredible guy to be around.
So Bill Belichick accused of throwing money at a top recruit, Diesel, who snubbed North Carolina. Obviously, he failed in an attempt to flip Julian Walker to North Carolina, and which was a flip from Michigan to South Carolina, right? We know that he was committed to Michigan. Dutch Fork, Tom Knott says, look, he's throwing money at him. I mean, I don't know that in the world of college athletics that we're in now, if people are going to, have enough of a problem with this to do anything about it. But, I mean, right before a state title game, I guess I would say welcome to the new era that we're in where, you can't focus on playing in your state title game because Bill Belichick's throwing money at you.
Well, that's not illegal anymore. You can do that, right? You can throw money at these players. I'm not following why exactly that's the headline here.
What do you mean?
You can pay players.
Yeah.
So what's the big consternation around throwing money if you're Bill Belichick?
Well,
is it because it's happening during a dead period?
And it's right before it's right, but I don't know why the articles were written. I'm telling you what the articles say.
Yeah, right.
I can't call the authors and the authors and ask them why they're written. I'm just telling you, it's all over the internet. Right before the state, an hour on the phone throwing money at them. Again, I'm just reading the.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe it's a dead period.
It is a dead period.
It is that
they can't be there.
That I think that's a bigger story. That it's a dead period and they're not supposed to be talking to these players. It's bad. I mean, it is bad, that Bill would do that right before a state championship game. But, these guys are getting paid now.
It is what it is. By the way, Michigan head coach hot board version 1.0 that was just created. Somebody just sent this to me. Urban Meyer 1, Kalen DeBoer 2, Mike Tomlin 3, John Harbaugh 4, and Jim Harbaugh 5. Urban Meyer coming back. Oh my gosh, what a story
would be the
flip,
funniest
right?
thing ever. Urban Meyer has an opportunity to do something big here.
Urban Meyer going to Michigan after being a legendary coach in the schools that he has been. I think that it's going to be thrown around. Hey, John Gruden will be a name that's thrown around a lot as well.
Yeah. Who is it on the stream? Shane Barrett says, hold on, legit candidate.
There you
John
go.
Gruden. He works at Barstool. Hello, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
So basically,
locked.
Dave, there you go.
Him.
Dave's going to
make him coach.
Make Michigan hire. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? Like in this world, it wouldn't surprise me.
Madcraft does bring up that is interesting. If the Ravens move on from John, you could get John Harbaugh coaching the Michigan Wolverines. That would be a lot of fun too.
By the way, just in from Brett McMurphy, Michigan is the 29th team with a new coach.
Wow.
in 2026.
Wow. Can we just change the calendar so that you're not allowed to contact coaches until after the season is over, please?
That is more, Diesel, than 21% of the 136 FBS teams. That's astronomical. You know what? I'm for this John Gruden talk. I really am. I don't have a problem with it. I like John Gruden. Look, does John Gruden have a wild, weird past in the NFL? Sure. But you know what? If a university like Michigan thinks, oh, Diesel, we're a big enough brand that we shouldn't have to settle for a PJ Fleck, I could see him doing it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could very well see a big – Michigan's a big brand. It's one of the – that's why I was kind of surprised they hired Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore wasn't a sexy name, right?
I mean, are there coaches who have otherwise said, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not changing jobs, who would reconsider now that Michigan has come open? I mean, this is one of the biggest jobs in American sports.
It is. It really is. Gruden will be an interesting name. We'll see. Again, on the text line, John Harbaugh was sent in. I don't know if a Harbaugh in Michigan will ever happen again. There's going to be a lot of good candidates out there next year, but I just don't know that this year. I mean, right now, you're talking about the end of the year already. It's so late in the game. I think you just hire an interim for next year and be done with it.
It's like I said, imagine running Biff Poggi out there for the first 6 games of the season just so that you can fire him and get a head start on all the other coaches and coaching searches halfway through the season. That's absurd. And what does it do to their recruiting class? I mean, I'm going to look up their recruiting class real quick. Recruiting is bad radio trying to type and search at the same time. Michigan had the number 11 class in America with 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars. How many of those guys? I mean, can they get out of their commitments at this point? Can they get out of their national letters of intent at this point if something like this happens?
Maybe Michigan sees all the success that Bill Belichick's had at North Carolina and says, hey, we want that guy. We want that guy to come coach at Michigan.
Still be at a jump brand school.
Yeah, that's true.
How about that?
Tolos, want to hear from you. Also, a reminder that the Upset Picks Challenge is open, 844-326-3663. If you just tuned into the show, breaking news, Michigan has fired their head football coach. And again, Brett McMurphy tweeted the statement out that it was with cause and more engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. And that is the news that nobody saw coming. And with cause, Diesel, how important that is, right? Because
that makes it harder to get another job down the road.
It does. And Michigan doesn't have to worry about any payout.
Yep. Exactly right. No buyout, no questions asked. This is an ugly situation for the Michigan Wolverines, and it's going to be interesting to see how they dig out of this dirty hole. Cole, I do, again, like you said, you want to remind the listeners to send in their upset picks. We have had, unfortunately, a change in programming, scheduling, and the plan for the rest of the show. We were going to be joined by Bill Bender of The Sporting News in the very next segment. He texted us and said, hey, guys, I got to write this Michigan story. Now, I'm going to be scouring social media to find his story, as I don't know when that's going to be published. I don't know if it's going to be published by the end of the show today. We'll see what kind of information Bill Bender has on this situation. But Bill is unfortunately not going to be able to join us in the next segment. And I know a lot of people were probably thinking that is the guy to ask about this, right? We are sorry that Bill is not going to be able to join us today, but he will join us tomorrow. So we will have a follow-up on this story, the biggest breaking news of the day, that Michigan has fired Sharon Moore with cause after it was they had credible evidence that he had engaged in an inappropriate relationship. Look, the heart wants what the heart wants. The crotch makes decisions that otherwise intelligent people wouldn't make. But I mean, come on. What part of you says I've got all of this and I'm willing to risk it for a secretary?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we don't know who the staffer was, right? We just don't know who that person was. And it's even worse. I mean, I think Sharon Moore probably recovers from this in a couple of years and is an assistant somewhere. maybe gets back into coaching at a major level a couple of years down the road. But I mean, what if it's an 18-year-old grad assistant? What if it's a younger, sports and nutrition person? I mean,
we don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have your upset pick, by the way?
I thought about some games earlier. Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to one yet. Do you have yours?
I am looking very, very heavily at a few. Again, Tolos, these are pre-Christmas bowls, so anything before Christmas is eligible.
Plus Army-Navy, plus college football playoff first-round games, the on-campus round.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I do have there's a part of me, Diesel, that also wants to swing big since it is, getting toward the end of the season, wanting to try to climb the ladder, end up somewhere on the board and maybe make a run. I looked at Toledo, Louisville, and the Bushes Boca Raton Bowl, 9.5 point spread in favor of Louisville. And this is a 8-4 Toledo team, just like Louisville's 8-4. I don't know. I have not been impressed with Miller Moss whatsoever and what Jeff Brom's done in 2025. I'm thinking now, earlier I was thinking about staying around the 6 to 7 point range in the upset picks challenge, but Tolo's out there. Maybe today, maybe this week's the one where you swing big and go for all the marbles.
Well, there's only one to swing big with, and that would be James Madison plus 21.5 over Oregon and Rebel Vol 51. So far, the only Tolo that has selected that game. I think I have made a decision now. I am going to go with the Smurf Turf Broncos of Boise State against Washington. Punching up a weight class. They're 9.5 point dogs here. I'm going to go Boise State plus 9.5 over Washington.
And that's this Saturday, right?
Yeah, I wanted to get it out of the way. If I'm gonna lose, I want to get it out of the way. I don't want to be thinking about it for the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
That one's interesting. Boise State, they looked good last weekend, but they have not impressed me. That one's interesting.
Shania Twain.
What'd I say?
They haven't impressed you?
They hadn't. They have not impressed me. I am looking at a couple. I'm going to go Memphis, though. I'm going to go with Memphis plus 6 points over NC State. That is a game that will be played next Friday, December 19th, the same day as the Alabama-Oklahoma game. But I'm going to go Memphis over NC State. Both teams know Memphis is 8-4. NC State 7-5 is 2:30 on ESPN. It's the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa.
I didn't choose that one because these are two teams that are, barely over 500. How much pride is there within these locker rooms? I mean, pride doesn't matter a whole lot when these kids are entering the transfer portal for money. But I just don't feel like a Memphis team that has lost as many times as they have in big-time games, they're not going to be that into beating NC State.
And I just don't know what NC State has just been so unimpressive to me. They've just been so unimpressive. So that's why I'm going against them. I don't know how Dave Doran still has a job. He's been meh for his entire career, but I'm going to go with give me the Tigers, man. That's who I'm going with.
Shane Barrett says, give me the fighting John Summeralls and the Tulane Green Wave.
Oh, man.
Over Ole Miss. I like it. I like it. Cole, you've been sprinkling in a little bit of something throughout the show today. Christmas classics.
That's right.
But
don't you love them? Don't you love them?
No, I don't. I don't like the Christmas classics, and I'm going to Scrooge it up in the next segment. What is your least favorite, most annoying? You got to turn the station every time it's on Christmas song that you hear all over the place this time of year. Call in, text in, 844-FAN-PHONE, next. I hate to be the one to break the bad news to you South Carolina Gamecock fans. This is big time breaking news. Not quite as big as Sharon Moore, but this is huge. Lenora Sellers is going to transfer to App State. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know how I know? I'm not making this up. I promise you, I'm not making this up. Lenora Sellers.
Yes, you are.
Lenora Sellers posted on his Instagram story today that he was skiing or snowboarding, you can't tell which, at App Ski Mountain in Boone, North Carolina. You know who else posted a photo skiing or snowboarding at App Ski Mountain today?
Shane Beamer, right?
No, not Shane Beamer.
Oh, Mike Furry.
Dowell Loggins, head coach of the App State Mountaineers. Book it, my friend. We are so back.
Getting the transfer in, I just don't know if I believe. There's no way. No way.
It's not. I know it's not going to happen. I'm being facetious. Yeah. I am pulling your leg, South. I'm not pulling your leg in the sense that this didn't happen. It did happen.
You would love it though.
It's on his story right now. I'd love it. I thought last year that Robbie Ashford should have transferred to App State to stay with Dowell, but I don't know what the relationship was like between those two. And would you say it's weird? Is it weird? It's hard to say. Going to hang out with your ex offensive coordinator, and that's not an easy drive. I mean, Columbia to Boone's probably like 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, probably something like that. I don't think it's too weird.
No.
Now if it became like a normal thing, like every other weekend he's hanging out with Dowell Loggins, then maybe so. But no, I look. Guess what? Lenore's probably likes to snow ski or what'd you say? Snowboard, whatever he was doing out there. Yeah, you
can't tell. It's just you see the I'm gonna post it up or show it up on the screen here. So this is Lenora Sellers' Instagram.
There you go.
There's somebody in front of him snowboarding, but that's not Lenora's. This is Lenora's from his phone.
Oh, that's Kendall Briles? Is that who that is?
I don't know. I don't know, but he's there. He's there.
Yeah.
As is Dowell Loggins.
You can always dream. Yeah. Nothing wrong with dreaming, right?
Hey, you want to talk about hurting your draft prospects. I mean, even if you go to Boone and you show out and you put up 1,000 yards this year, that's not going to like 4,000 yards this year. That's not going to make you a more draftable prospect. But Cole, this time of year, no matter where you go, you are inundated, blasted, non-friggin' stop with Christmas music. I got lunch at the Asian restaurant across the street yesterday, and they're playing Christmas music in there. My wife has it on her car stereo all the time, and it drives me insane. There's one particular song. I don't know why it bugs me the way that it does, but it gets me going every time.
You don't like it?
I hate it.
Oh my! You're a Scrooge.
Hate it.
I don't want to hear this.
I hate this song. You may know this song right now. It's called "Do They Know It's Christmas" by the band Band-Aid. Number one, it's a horrible name.
Bad
for
name
a band.
for a
Band-Aid
band,
is a terrible name. "Do They Know It's Christmas" is singing a song like it's snowing down in Africa. Do they know it's Christmas?
It doesn't snow in Africa.
No, some parts, yeah.
No way.
The mountains are high.
No.
Not all of it is the desert, Cole.
Yes.
You get down to the
doesn't
southern
snow.
This song is so weird because it feels oddly racist. I'm not sure. Wow. It just kind of feels that way. Is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, God, it's so bad.
You don't like it.
I hate this song.
You're a Scrooge.
No, let's be real. I am a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas music. I don't like a lot of Christmas music in general, but I am a traditionalist. Give me the Bing Crosby.
Oh, I like
Okay, give me the Brenda Lee rocking around the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Give me Nat King Cole.
But you don't like this.
But this is awful.
Really? Let me judge myself. I like it.
Of course you do.
I like it. Why don't you like this?
It's stupid. It's stupid. Come on. Tolos, help me out. Is this song good or bad?
Oh, man.
Is this song good or bad? And by the way, Shane Barrett says Robbie Ashford.
Oh,
Robbie Ashford.
That's not nice.
I think Robbie could have come to Boone and been really good with his impressive stature.
So if that's the one you hate the most, which one do you love the most?
Which one do I love?
Yeah,
the most?
You got to pick one.
Well, it's you're gonna tell me I'm evil and I'm fired for this.
Die Hard song. Let me get.
No. I also hate Elvis's Blue Christmas. I hate that song.
Blue Christmas. Oh, that's a good one, right?
I hate that song. God, this is a hard thing. We should put up a draft of great Christmas songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Perry Como's "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas."
I like that.
He's a crooner. He's deep.
I like that. I like that one a lot. I thought you were going to say Mariah Carey.
Oh God, Mariah Carey is a meme. You see, people. Here's now we're getting into things that bug me the most.
Yeah.
Every year, you get those. Here's what you posted a year ago on Facebook, and then people just repost the same things again and again and again and again. And this Mariah Carey inside of what looks like a Barbie container, like a Barbie packaging, every year. Can we come up with something a little more original?
People love that Mariah Carey, man. They love that Mariah Carey.
And he says he hates Mariah Carey.
I think Mariah's, you got to love her, love it or hate it.
She's trying too hard, okay? Trying too hard. And I get it, like, you have to try to put in some new Christmas music sometimes. You can't just play the same 10 songs over and over and over again. But those songs are baked into our psyche, and the new stuff, it ain't it.
Let's see if there are any Tolos out there who are on the same wavelength that I am, Diesel. Not like with autism, but like talking about enjoying country.
So you admit it.
Chris, yes. Country Christmas music. My favorite song is it's out by Alabama, the country band, right?
Yeah.
We all know Alabama. Let's see if there's any Tolos that like this one. This is my all-time favorite Christmas song. I think it's the best one. See if you've ever heard it or not. I think know.
Kalen DeBoer could go 10-3 with this song.
Paul Feinbaum. I don't know. I think you probably have heard this song, but I'm going to go 50-50. It wouldn't surprise me if you said you had not heard it. It's Christmas in Dixie. You heard it?
There's snow on the ground.
Don't think you have?
I don't know this one.
It's good, man.
I don't know this one. Maybe
talks about different places, being Christmas time. And
maybe if I spent more time at the barn and Traveler's Rest.
You would know it. Oh, you would definitely know this one if you. It's pretty good. It's
what was the name of that country bar in Greenville?
Oh, the one that shut down.
The one that shut down. What was it called? God, Blind Horse.
Blind Horse.
I'm sure they played the song at the Blind Horse all
Christmas
the time.
They did. Christmas time. I'm sure they did. Christmas in Dixie's by Alabama is my all-time favorite Christmas song. Yeah, but I'll tell you this: I'm not a Scrooge like you. Here's the chorus. Talks about Christmas and different. It's a good one, man. It's a good one.
I might know this song.
It's one of those you just relax to, It's not like a banger, It's not like where you're, hitting your head against the steering wheel like you do, and the music that you listen to, the rock and roll, rocking around the Christmas tree.
I want to listen to anything, but I don't know how the people that, work in the 24/7, 365 Christmas stores do it.
Oh, I
don't know how they do it. You would love it.
No. I'm sorry. Not 365 days a year. No, you're talking about all the time.
Yeah, there's a couple of stores. There's one on Woodruff Road in Greenville.
No.
All year long.
No, not all year long. No. Now, during Christmas time, I love it. Right?
Love it. Who loves Christmas music? Honestly,
love it.
Honestly,
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
TSL is great because it's just shredding guitars.
Carol of the Bells. Are you kidding me?
Twisted Sister has a Christmas album.
No,
that's good. And Taylor Momsen, who is the little girl in The Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. She sings that song, Where Are You Christmas?
Yeah.
She's the front woman of a band now called The Pretty Reckless, and she just released a rock version of that song, like a hard rock version of that song.
Wait, she's not a little kid anymore?
No, she's not. Believe it or not, people grow up.
Oh, man. And you know what even makes like Christmas songs better? When you're watching the Christmas movies and then those songs hit like the great, like we were talking about Home. No. Home Alone's good too, but I think Santa Claus does the best job of having the good Christmas songs in the movie. You want a good mix. You want a good mix. I'm not saying you have to have like popular Christmas songs in a good Christmas movie, because I don't know that, let's say Christmas Vacation. Does Christmas Vacation have a lot of Christmas songs? Probably not off the top of my head.
Movie? Yeah. It's got. I mean, there's all kinds of.
I know,
Christmas
like
music
while they're
songs.
driving and stuff, but maybe
they sing jingle
bells.
bells.
At the very beginning, right? Well, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is more Christmas. Maybe there are more Christmas songs in Christmas Vacation. I think you got to have good Christmas songs and a good Christmas movie.
If Christmas music is so great, how come nobody has it on their iPod? How come nobody listens to it in July? No one does.
No,
exactly.
You use the Spotify Christmas playlist and just
Now you want to talk about having a level of autism. If you're listening to the Spotify
I
Christmas
do.
playlist in August,
I do.
You're just trying to get ready. You telling me
Not in August.
You're trying to prep. You're trying to prep for football season, and you're playing Perry Como.
No,
I don't think so.
I wait until Thanksgiving, and then I'm good. Thanksgiving. Texter says Cole probably likes Wham's Last Christmas if you like Band-Aid corn chip. Let's see. Tall Tigers fan 24 says, I agree. Alabama, Christmas, and Dixie, all-time favorite. Texter says, everyone raised in the South knows this song, but what about Merry Christmas from the Family by Montgomery Gentry? That's a good one as well. Eric from Boiling Springs says, one of my favorites, Cole. Texter 309 says, yes, Christmas and Dixie. Hurricane Jeff says, Fellows TSO Orchestra, not even close. Jarrett Tripp, White Christmas by the Drifters. Oh, man. Or somebody hating on Sinatra there?
The worst part, though, and this is splitting hairs, the worst part about TSO's Christmas songs is their best Christmas songs are instrumentals. Like Wizards in Winter, the song that they're shredding, there's no words. Something like, it's a Christmas song, but other than like the sleigh bells, you wouldn't know that it's a Christmas song just by listening to it.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I like TSO. Again, the only one I know is Carol of the Bells. I'm just really offended that you're not a Elvis Blue Christmas guy. That's one of the best ones, man. I mean, that sounds just like him. You did a good job there. Don't you love this? You kidding me? Without you?
Jam a corkscrew into my temple, would you?
I know. You know what? No. I apologize. I know what you like. I forget. I should have known. You are a Michael Bublé Christmas guy.
Of course.
That's what you are.
I drink his energy drinks.
I should have known that he has energy drinks.
I think it's sparkling water. It's bubbly, but it's spelled like Bublé.
You had me for a minute.
No, it's true. It's true. I only know because
I've seen those, but they're not his, are they?
He promotes them.
Does he really?
Yeah. It's a logical.
Well, yeah.
It's a logical endorsement.
I never would have.
We used to have them in the cooler downstairs. You know, the one that we take waters from every day?
Yeah. Who?
We're not supposed to.
Michael Bublé.
Roy doesn't listen to the show.
No, it's okay. Diesel's a Michael Bublé guy. Just in breaking news.
Yeah.
I knew it all.
Shocking,
huh? Not Mariah Carey, but he does like the Michael Bublé. That's pretty good there. He's good. He's not like the best, He's not the. Now, I mean, earlier in the show, I played Feliz Navidad. I think that's one of my top 5 ever.
Really?
Don't you? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Feliz Navidad.
Can you understand the words? You know what they're saying?
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Did you know that Christopher Lee, the actor that played Saruman in Lord of the Rings, has 2 Christmas albums?
No.
2 heavy metal Christmas albums?
No.
Yeah.
Hurricane Jeff asked, have you guys ever heard TSO's version of Oh Holy Night? I have not. I don't think.
Maybe.
That's a good one. I mean, I like all the Christian Christmas music, but I don't think I've heard TSO's version of it. RJ says, no hate towards Sinatra. His rendition of Go Tell It on the Mountain is great. I love Sinatra. But you know what, though? I don't know what it is. When I hear Sinatra, I don't think Christmas. I'm sure he's got great Christmas songs. I don't correlate Frank Sinatra and Christmas together. Is that normal?
And that's the problem, is that so many of these artists are just recording Christmas music to add it to the repertoire, to have it like pop up in algorithms on the holidays. They get all the spins and they get all the extra plays, but there's nothing that says Christmas about that.
Yeah, I think there is something to be said like about originals. I like an oldie. I like you mentioned Bing Crosby. I mean, that's a good one. That's tough to beat, right? But I don't know. I think that's interesting. Dan B brought up earlier in this week if we were going to do a Christmas movie bracket, maybe instead, since we did that last year, maybe we do a song bracket this year.
Possibly, yeah.
We did a movie last year, movie bracket, and I can't remember who won.
You know what my all-time favorite Christmas song is, though, Cole? It's the last one they play at the end of Christmas season.
My gosh.
That's the one.
You are such a Scrooge.
Yeah, whatever the last one is they play on those stations, that's the best one.
You know who I'm a big fan of? Dolly Parton. Anything Dolly Parton sings.
Dolly, come on, she's great.
Great. I mean, just great. And in more ways than one. She's fantastic. Pentatonics fan?
Yeah, I've heard them.
They're like very talented.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe them. I'm not a music guy.
They're like the Blue Man Group, but not nerdy.
That's right. And they have an interesting way of doing things. I don't know if I'm like the biggest Pentatonics fan. They're good. I'll say that, but it is like I don't know, is it all a cappella, no instruments, Diesel? Does that sound right? Is that what
I think that's right.
I think that's what they're known for. They do a lot of different songs out there, but they don't have any instruments. So kudos to them. I just don't know if they're.
It takes a lot of talent to do that.
It does.
Yeah.
Adam says, "Are you cool with Christmas music starting in November? Starting in December start it in December for God's sake," says Adam.
Yeah. The problem, Adam, is that Thanksgiving doesn't have any good music. There's no songs about gathering and deep frying turkeys. There should be.
You know what?
Seems like something Morgan Wallen would write.
Well, Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. As we run the break, I think that's maybe something Morgan Wallen should look at. The first ever Thanksgiving. So the Pilgrims didn't have any songs out there. Is that right? Was that what you're saying?
No, they didn't.
I like that idea.
And is there a song about eating too much turkey and falling asleep with your belly hanging out
and watching the
Cowboys lose?
There needs to be maybe
a great song.
Maybe Chat GPT and AI, we can make that happen. The first ever Thanksgiving song. I like that. All right, good stuff, Tolos. Really good stuff. Good interaction. We talk Christmas and we get more text than we have all show long.
Upset picks. Don't forget.
What are we doing? Bowl games? Or are you asking how many bowl games there should be? Is that right?
Yeah. The question in the next segment is, what should bowl season be going forward? As we're seeing it collapse before our very eyes, what should it be? Next. Adam, you should have put trademark on the end of your text because this is fantastic. We talked about not having great Thanksgiving music, and so there ought to be a song about laying out on the couch, catatonic, because you ate too much. Now you're watching football, and Adam sends this in. I ate too much turkey, too much dressing on my plate. Now I'm laid out on the sofa in a full-bellied state. Belly sticking out while my eyelids start to snooze. Waking up just in time to watch the Cowboys lose.
Boo.
Yeah.
I don't like that, Adam.
Yeah.
Chat GPT wrote that.
Matt
Come on.
Krabs, can you turn that into a song? Can you record that for us?
Oh, yeah, he is an artist, right?
He's got a good voice.
He's an artist.
He's got a good voice. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in Creed in Cowpens, who has something to say about the Carolina Panthers, whose destiny is still under their control. Creed, how badly are they going to screw this up?
Well, believe it or not, the most important game is actually tomorrow. That is the game. Tomorrow night, if Tampa Bay, if they can lose to Atlanta, and if you beat New Orleans, then you're in real good shape. You win the tiebreaker. You can beat Tampa Bay either one of the two games. Seattle would be meaningless. Would not matter what happens. You win one of the two Tampa Bays, you win. You're done. If Tampa Bay wins tomorrow night, you have no chance of tiebreaker. You're done. Division records would be the same no matter what you do against New Orleans. Division records, same. Common games is be the next tiebreaker. You lose it because they beat Arizona and we lost to Arizona. So tomorrow night is huge.
Huge.
If Tampa Bay wins tomorrow night, you pretty much have to beat them twice.
Tampa Bay favored by 4.5 at home. Bucks are 7-6. Falcons are 4-9. The ESPN matchup predictor gives the Bucks a 63% chance to win the game, and that's not good if you're a division leader to only have a 63% chance to beat the putrid Falcons.
Falcons are bad now, guys. Creed,
Yeah.
I mean,
So is New Orleans, but they still beat us.
That's correct. That's correct. So what happens? Who wins? Tell us.
It's a division game. That's what. So it's still a toss-up. It's a division game. It really is a toss-up. So just hope the coin flips our way for the tiebreaker because it would be critical for the tiebreaker. It would be.
There's so many injuries on both sides of the ball here, though. Mike Evans is out. Jalen McMillan is out. Tyreek Smith is out. Baker has been throwing a lot of picks lately. I mean, these are two beat-up football teams, and the Bucs have lost 4 of their last 5, as have the Falcons. So this is the pillow fight of the week. There's a reason they're sticking it on Thursday Night Football.
But Creed, great call. You're right. It's huge. It's
hear
huge.
from me, Creed.
It is a big game. If you're a Panther fan today, you're a Falcons fan tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And Creed's right. New Orleans wasn't good either, and look what they did to Tampa Bay. I don't know. I just think Tampa Bay's too talented, right? Quarterback's too good.
Right?
I guess.
But they lost to the Saints. They
did.
got blown out by the Rams. I mean, a lot of people get blown out by the Rams.
Yeah.
A lot of people get beat by the Bills. A lot of people get beat by the Patriots.
Yep.
I mean, the Bucs have been on a weird skid the last couple of weeks. So
how about that?
It's gonna be hard to say. I mean, they're losing to good teams, but they're also now losing to bad teams too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're just in a tailspin right now as a team, and they could flop and fold. By the way, if you didn't hear the breaking news, I guess that was about an hour ago when that news came out. The University of Michigan has fired its head coach, Sharon Moore, for an inappropriate relationship. They say that they found credible evidence that he was engaged with an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. That means he has been fired for cause, the conduct unbecoming statute that is in most coaches' contracts. You can't do anything that embarrasses the university. And they said, we got a 0 tolerance policy for that kind of stuff. And they meant it.
Good. They should have meant it. It is huge news. It's news that nobody saw coming today, Diesel. I'll tell you this. I didn't think Sharon Moore was like the greatest thing ever, but I did think he was good enough to, keep Michigan in a competitive spot, use the portal and, get guys in. They won 9 games this year, beat Ohio State. He's beat Ohio State. I'm just saying that's interesting.
When we come back, Cole, I want to get an early preview of this segment from you because you're just about to take off. And you're going to be headed up to Burns at
It's Burns and Greer. It's at Burns
okay.
Freshman Academy for anybody, any Burns fans making the trip. Tonight's game,
Gotcha.
Greer at Burns, is not at the main campus. It's at Burns Freshman Academy.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question early, Cole. As somebody who does play-by-play for football and now for basketball for Burns High School, what's your pet peeve when you're watching national announcers? The things that national announcers say or do that gets under your skin the most?
Anything that Robert Griffin III, anything that comes out of his mouth.
Okay,
is that a good?
Like what is it about it?
It's an ick. It's an ick. You know, I don't know. I think there is a standard that professional broadcasters on TV are supposed to hold themselves to.
Is he too biased?
I just think he's too, make it about me. To answer your question, I like announcers who don't make it about themselves, right? And sadly, you see that at every level, high school, college, pro. Make it about the kids, make it about the athletes, make it about the game. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Shane Barrett says, I love that question. Well, Shane, how about this? Pick up your phone.
There you go.
And dial 844-326-3663. When we come back, Tolos, your pet peeves from national announcers. That's next. you're watching your favorite football team play, or you're tuning in to watch a rival lose. It happens this time of year. You gotta keep up with everything that's going on. But then, the announcer takes you out of it, makes you not even want to listen to these jabronis calling the game. What are they even talking about? Well, that's the question I have for you right now, Tolos. 844-326-3663. We've all watched a lot of sports. We've all watched a lot of football, baseball, basketball, NASCAR, whatever it is. What is that tendency of announcers in major sports here in America that just grinds your gears? It just takes you out of the moment, kills the immersion, makes you want to turn the game on mute and listen to the radio call. 844-326-3663. I've got a very easy one to start. And Shane Barrett says he loves this question. Well, Shane Barrett, give me an answer. Give me an answer to the question. What is that thing that you hate most about what national sports announcers do? And it's very simple for me. Talking about other games. Stop talking about other games while I'm watching this game. I tune in for your knowledge, play-by-play guys who have allegedly spent a decent amount of time prepping for this game. I don't care about what's going on with other teams in the playoff 6 weeks down the road. Stop promoting the college football playoff. I'm here to watch this game. Give me something I don't know about these teams, about these players, about these coaches, about the tendencies that the other coach hasn't quite figured out. It comes down ultimately, I guess, to it just feels really lazy. It feels like you didn't do a whole lot of homework on these teams. You ran out of things to say about them middle of the first quarter, and you just thought, we'll talk about the playoff. Like, I'm here trying to watch Toledo versus Western Michigan because I want to know what's happening here. Maybe I've thrown some scratch down on this game. And you want to talk about what's happening in the CFP. Let's go to the phone lines right now, 844-326-3663. Tolos, who's this?
This is Shane Barrett. You talked me into it.
Hey, Shane.
What's up?
I must be on speakerphone or something because I hear a lot of background noise. Help me out and kill that if you can. But what is that thing for you, Shane? Like you're watching a game and the announcer starts talking about this or that and it gets under your skin. What is that thing for you?
I have two, and they're probably really nitpicky. But the main one is if a questionable call happens in the game and the announcer comes on and says that the opposite, like they believe that the call is right or wrong, and then the video evidence shows that the announcer is completely wrong and they still double down on it. It drives me absolutely nuts. And then the other one is it's really minor, but like getting people's names and numbers wrong. Like the most egregious example I can give is like Preston Howard for Auburn this year, played tight end, has number 15. Keldrick Falk played defensive end, wore number 15. Keldrick Falk's the top 10 draft pick. Preston Howard's going to be the next general manager at McDonald's because he can't catch anything. And so they luckily never got those two mixed up. But like getting stuff like that mixed up drives me insane.
If you have you ever seen the prep card, especially the national guys, the ones who are really good? Have you ever seen these things, Shane? It's like
I haven't. I've seen one for like a high school soccer game though, and I know it's got to be more detailed than that.
It's incredible. Like they have these specialized folders, and a lot of them have like digital setups now to where a producer behind them will actually send information to their screen in real time, and it's their job to essentially present the information in an entertaining and a compelling way. But I don't envy the play-by-plays guys having to do that now because so many people's names are so dang hard. Like,
oh my gosh.
Imagine trying to learn all of the different odd, crazy spellings and pronunciations, and you have to spit them out in real time. And if you get it wrong, you got Shane Barrett calling into radio stations saying this guy is a jamoke.
Yeah, pretty much. I like if they catch it and they correct it, like that's cool. But it's the ones that like don't correct it at all. It's like you have that information at your hands. You should know better.
Yeah, I hear you, Shane, and I appreciate the phone call. It's the ones that feel unprepared that drive me nuts the most. The ones that want to make everything about other games besides the game that we're watching right now. And look, some of these guys are not getting paid all that much money, right? But you're still a professional at this. It's your job to know these things. It's your job to have 5 pieces of interesting information about a team and to be able to spread that out for a couple of minutes every time you bring one up. Then you got to go right back to play-by-play. This is a personal one, okay? This is a personal one. As an App State fan, I'm proud of the fact that we beat Michigan in 2007. It drives me nuts when every year that is basically all the play-by-play announcers know about our team. This program, oh, they're giant killers. They beat Michigan 25 years ago. Awesome. Talk about how good the team was last year. Talk about the returning production. It's harder now than it ever has been. But like, give me something about these players that maybe make you think it could happen again. Over on the text line, 844-326-3663. Texter says the most annoying thing that play-by-play announcers do that drives him absolutely insane is talking more about the transfers and where they transferred from than the players who have been on this team for a while. That's a good one, Texter. That's a good one. Like, again, it goes back to laziness. It's let's make the transfer portal seem so insanely prevalent that nobody on this team has been in the same room with each other more than 2 or 3 times. Talking about, oh, look at the Florida train. I saw that in I think it was the Florida game. I was listening to the Florida game driving home from South Carolina the last time I was there covering a game. Florida was playing or Tennessee was playing. It might have been the Florida-Tennessee game. The Auburn transfer, the Ole Miss transfer, the Florida State transfer. Dude, it's like game number 9. They're not transfers anymore. They are players on this team. Talk about what they've done for this team. I don't give a rip what they did in another uniform. Talk about what they've done this year. I think that's so much more relevant to the team and to this game. Talk about the guy's skill set. Talk about the time that you had to interview the players going into this game to learn about them. But they don't do that. They don't do that. Texter says, can't do that with Clemson. Shane says, can't do that with Clemson. I'm not following exactly. I know you know where you're going, but I'm not making the connection of where you're going. And, hey, I'm not saying that our faithful co-host here, Cole Bryson, does any of these things because Cole is phenomenal at doing play-by-play. If you haven't heard him do play-by-play yet, especially for football, he is really great at that. You hear this a lot more in ESPN Plus broadcasts, which are Homer broadcasts, when the color guy is so excited that he's yelling over the play-by-play voiceover guy. You hear it all the time. Oh my God. And then you miss the down and distance. You miss what happened on the play because the guy won't stop yelling over the play-by-play voice. There's some phenomenal video. If you've never seen this, I think it was the Furman, Virginia game. Kevin Harlan was on the call, and this is hilarious. We've had Kevin Harlan spots airing about drunk driving. And again, I don't know who I want to narrate my life more, whether it be Kevin Harlan or Ed Orgeron. Both of those guys are phenomenal in completely different ways. But Kevin Harlan is calling this play, and Furman hits the game-winning shot. And if you're watching on the stream, you'll be able to see this. But Kevin sticks his arms out to tell his color analyst and play-by-play, color analyst, and sometimes they have a second analyst on the call, to let it breathe. They hit the shot. He makes the call. And then nothing but the roar of the crowd for 30 seconds. It's captivating. It puts you in that moment. It makes you feel like you're in the arena. But when you've got a color guy saying, I've never seen anything like that. Oh my God. It sucks. It takes you out of it. So there you go. Things that annoy me the most when it comes to play-by-play. Cole said when announcers make it too much about themselves. In the NFL, that's a big thing. You know, you hear as many of these ex-quarterbacks as they've tried to bring into the booth. Well, back when I was playing, here's the way. Stop. Nobody cares anymore. You are an announcer. You are a broadcast professional. Be a broadcast professional. You can analyze with all that extra knowledge, but don't make it about yourself. I thought that was a great addition from Cole Bryson before he ran out. And by the way, you're going to hear Cole Bryson on the play-by-play call of Burns boys basketball coming up here in just about an hour. Another question I have for you, Tolos. If you can answer this question, then text in at 844-326-3663. How many bowl games do you think there are? And how many bowl games do you think there ought to be? How many bowl games are there? Quick texts at 844-FAN-PHONE without counting and not including the college football playoff, not including, the HBCU Celebration Bowl, not including Army Navy that we're counting it in this week's Upset Picks Challenge. How many bowl games do you think there are? Because it keeps expanding, right? It's been growing and growing and growing. Texter says, I don't know, like 25. Sorry, Texter, you're way short. You are way short. This year, there are 35 bowl games, not including the college football playoff. And you get 11 more games in the CFP. So you're talking about 46 postseason games. And that is way too many. Way too many. This is something people have been saying for years. Why are these advertisers struggling to figure it out? There's way too many bowls. If you believe it, most of these sponsors are not spending all that much money to sponsor the bowl games anyway. It's just enough money to basically put their name on the game, and that's it. They're not in desirable locations. Nobody wants to go to Boise, Idaho in the middle of damn December to play on blue turf. It's an ugly field. It's cold as hell. Nobody wants to go there. So let's stop doing it. Bowl games used to be about filling hotel rooms in desirable locations in the offseason. You get Auburn versus North Carolina in Tampa, Florida. And those fan bases, they come down and they fill hotel rooms. I think bowl season would come back in a major way if they cut bowls from 35 to like 10. So 20 teams, 20 more teams get into a bowl game. And that's it. 20. You got your 12 in the CFP. That means 32 teams get in. You like that, Tolos? 10 more bowl games. 32 teams. That's it. And just go straight seeding, right? If you're doing the CFP in the 1 through 12 sort of scenario, 13, 14, you play each other. 15, 16, 17, 18, on down the line. Y'all play each other. Go prove it on the field. Have an opportunity. I don't know if that means – I think it would bring the viewership back because you get more football. You get more good football. Fewer tie-ins where it's like, let's give the 5th best ACC team and the 7th best Big 12 team. Nobody gives a rip about that. Focus on trying to keep these bowl games close to the two schools that are playing in them. I'd love to see like no bowl more than 5-hour drive away. The Belk Bowl, guess what? You get to choose from teams in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. If you can't do it, shut it down. You don't deserve to have a bowl. Do away with those automatic tie-ins. Up the requirement in a major way to like 8. Minimum of 8 wins. I don't know how many teams. I'd have to go back and look at the totality of college football this year. How many teams didn't make the CFP that also won at least 8 games? Probably like 20 teams, 10 bowl games. Put them in great locations that people want to go to, and that's how you make bowl season fun again. and put big old fat cash prizes. How are you going to get these players to stay through bowl season? Well, you fix the calendar and you offer big old fat prizes. Hey guys, we're going to split $1.5 million between the players that win this thing. I like that one a lot. What say you? Hey, the Carolina Panthers have a big time opportunity on their hands this weekend to dramatically increase their chances to make the NFL playoffs. We had Creed from Cowpens earlier call in with some scenarios and what the Carolina Panthers would have to do depending on what happens in tomorrow night's Thursday night game with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. But you got to win this weekend. You cannot let the last couple of weeks where you beat the Rams, you beat the Packers, you can't let that wash. You can't let that go away. Bryce Young ought to know that if he doesn't show out the next couple of weeks, his job could very well be on the line as well. He very much at least needs to feel that way. Whether it's true or not, he needs to feel that way. So to talk about it, let's go right to the expert, right to the source, a guy that writes exclusively about the Carolina Panthers for the Four Letter Network, David Newton of ESPN, Carolina Panthers beat writer, going to join us next right here on the Fan Upstate.